Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Black Men Unfiltered Network. I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get that done. All right. Without you guys, this show is not possible. The algorithm loves you, and I do too. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. While we groove it out, it is Friday. Kick back, grab a beer. The show is near. I appreciate every one of you guys for being here tonight. This is the Black Men Unfiltered Network Barbershop Talk tonight. Tonight we will be discussing why women pushing to silence and censor men. It's a thing that we're dealing with right now. The first thing is we wanted to be equal with you, and now we want you to just be quiet. So me and the guys tonight, I'm dropping the link later as well to allow other men to come up. But for right now, let's get this housekeeping out the way. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the notification button. If you want to donate to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that Cash App. That's going to be scrolling at the bottom of the screen in 3, 2, 1. There it is right there. Also, if you want to donate, you can also do a super chat as well. All right. This channel is monetized. If you really want to go over and help people out, go ahead and hit the Cash App or hit that as well. All right. All right, much respect to everybody in the chat. And while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and get the chat ready because I know the chat's going to be live tonight. So let me go over and see what we got in the chat. We got Lady Novoa in the building tonight. Shout out to Lady Novoa. All right, thank you for being here, Lady Novoa. I appreciate you so much. All right, let's see who else we got in the building tonight. We got the OG in here. Ghost OG JC. All right. He said, Lady Novoa, have a good trip and keep up the rest in chat. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Ghost OG is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see what else we got in here tonight. We building over here. I'm here just to listen. Blessings. The host and platform have a blessed, productive weekend. Stay healthy, focused, and motivated every day. We build more projects your first time young lady or a male. Which one? Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button so you know when we go live. All right. We got Truth and Purpose Nexus in the building tonight. My brother, he said, Black Men Unfiltered Network, how are you, brother? I am here for it. Hashtag we got work to do. All right. We building truth and purpose blessings. All right. Thank you for being here. We building. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Again, thank you for being here. We got the one and the only, the beautiful and lovely, guys. If you have not subscribed to her channel, you might as well do it. The Real Precious is in the building. She said, good evening, BMU. Good evening, my love. And to the VMU panel and to the chat. All right, the Real Precious, if you're not busy, inbox me because I'll definitely bring you up to get your perspective on this because you're in the game and you see what's going on out here with it as well. So thank you. All right, we got Cody is King in here. Have a great show. Thank you, Cody is King, for being here tonight. I appreciate you as well. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this show started. We'll be right back with you right after this. Appreciate you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. It is good to see you guys. All right, now listen, I got one guy here for right now, but give me just a second. Let me go ahead and see who else came up in here. The Real Precious, I can't cam up watching while I do some work. Not a problem at all. I'll send you the link right now. But I want to bring up my guy, my brother from another mother. As we start out, he'll start out with me, and we'll move forward from there. Mr. Bennett is in the building tonight. What's going on, Mr. Bennett? How are you doing, man? How's family?
I'm doing well. Family's doing good.
Your mic is kind of low, my brother.
Let me just double check.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, cool. Now things are good. Like I said, we're in graduation season. I got a rites of passage ceremony tomorrow for my daughter, and then
congratulations to your daughter.
Yeah, both daughters are graduating. One got the master's, one's getting their bachelor's. And then a good friend of mine, I went to his graduation today. He got his doctorate, his PhD in African Studies. So lifelong friend of mine. So, very proud of him and what he's been able to put together. So we're just in that season. It's just good to see people moving on.
All right, man. And tell us about your team last night, man, because they pulled one off. How do you feel about your boys moving forward?
Well, look, as you can see in my tag here, so I got the Celtics in Game 7, so I'm excited for them to go, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully we can get productivity for the whole 48 minutes out of our main scorer. He did catch fire in the fourth quarter, and certainly that was big, but we need that for the whole ride. So hopefully they can pull that off, and hopefully James Harden can show up as James Harden again and be the inconsistent man that he's always been in the playoffs for all these years. He's good for games 2 and 3, but game 7, that's a different story. So we hope that the same pattern repeats itself. You muted, black man.
I'm glad you're here tonight, man. I appreciate you being here. I'm about to get another woman's perspective in here as well. Just for a moment, she's working, but she said she'll come in and give her perspective. But how do you feel in this moment? I want to ask you, how do you feel about the push for men to be silent? What are your thoughts on that? And first of all, do you believe it? Because I don't want to say what you believe and don't believe. But
I think in some cases, yes. It's about simply just controlling. It's just controlling the overall narrative. I was just listening again. Everybody talked to death about the Ebony K. Williams thing, and the first thing I remembered was, and all the women came to her defense and saying, yeah, she was right, and that sort of thing. But I remember when Cam Newton, a year earlier, he had made his preferences known in terms of what he wants in a woman. And he said he doesn't want one of these boss women. He doesn't want one of these power women. He just wants a traditional wife. And women were all over him. So as to try to get him canceled and everything simply by voicing his opinion. So it's like, is his opinion any less valid? Him wanting a more traditional woman versus you wanting a higher earning man? I mean, if it's all about choice and preference, then shouldn't his choice be just as valid as yours? And so I've just been looking at just the dichotomy here in terms of how the messages are getting received. So so when men are being their authentic selves and their choices, it's not always received well, and people take action from it. So I do think there is in a lot of spaces a desire to shut down the voices of men, or at least the voice that doesn't align with yours. I think there's definitely some of that goes on, but I still think we need to create the space. Everyone wants these open spaces for people to express themselves, and I think we need to advocate for that. I mean, free speech it's free speech. So if you're going to be an advocate for it, you can't be trying to censor people for having a view that's different from a narrative that's currently out there. So I do think there is a lot of that to push back on what men are trying to say.
Do you think that, because what happens, I think, this is just my perspective, I think that they want men to be quiet because the men don't need to have a voice, because women feel like, I'm making more money, I'm more independent, I don't want to hear about the social construct of men leading when they're not leading with their finances, they're not leading with Basically, if it boils down to it, you have to choose one thing that they're looking for is based on the finances. You heard Ebony K. She said if he doesn't own the bus, I don't want him.
Right.
Right. So you know, so so do you think that money, if you had to put a percentage on it, what percentage would you put on it that it's money? Just strictly money.
From her perspective,
Yes.
I'll probably say about 70-80%. And I think, but I don't think she's necessarily alone there. I mean, ever since we've been in these spaces, you know, certainly there is the call for high earning women to want high earning men. But there's a math problem that a lot of people don't want to address. There's not that many of them, period. And women make even less. So again, because you're in this rarefied space that you can certainly earn an income, I'm not hating on that. I'm telling my daughters, go out there and you know, and do your best and be successful. But if that's, you know, if that's the main thing that you're holding on to, then you're going to run into a math problem. And what, for me, the thing that got me about some of the responses to the Ebony K thing was, it's like, you know, men historically never associated a woman's value with money. That's
Right.
never been a thing. It's like these other attributes that she brought to the table besides money. And
Right.
certainly in those times, I could certainly understand why, in that case, a woman was certainly, you know, want a guy who could earn a stable income. But now women are earning these incomes, and with that should come some responsibility. I was just hearing one of the responses. I was reading them, and this woman says she's got 2 PhDs. She works a lot more than her husband. Her husband has a high school degree diploma, but they're happy. They're
Right.
happy, and you know, she pays majority of the bills. And someone actually asked her, "Well, isn't that a lot of stress on you to have to pay all those bills for your son and for him? Isn't that a stress?" But you never asked that question of a guy, because guys have always shouldered that load for forever. So it's like, again, it's like out of Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. If you're gonna make the check, or if you're gonna make the coin, then why is it then that you want to have this division of check? If it's one pot, if it's is it your money, or is it the family's money?
Right.
And so if as long as that can be understood, then I don't care who makes the money, but do you have a one pot mentality? But it still seems with a lot of women, it's like you want your cake and eat it too. You want to change the role of the traditional woman. Again, that's why I think a lot of women got offended at Cam when he said, "I'm not looking for that."
Right.
But at the same time, do you want all the responsibilities that come with earning that income? And then a lot of them will say, "Well, you know, look, well, because we're women, we have health challenges, we bear children and whatnot." Well, look, these days, a health situation can happen to a guy just as fast.
Right.
And so, you know, you may be in a position where you may have to be that sole provider, but can you find value in a man besides just his money? I'm not saying guys don't try to make as much money as you can. Absolutely. But, you know, again, how do you value? It's a reflection on, again, how do you value men? And if you only value men as a utility,
Right.
then I think we're missing something. So I just find it very interesting the question that woman asked the other one. It's like, isn't that a stress on you? Well, men, again, we've been stressing for forever. And but again, if this is going to be the new dynamic, I'm not saying go back to the 1940s. If this is the dynamic, women are getting more college degrees, more advanced positions, more income, more in positions of authority, then be ready to take everything that goes with that. If you get divorced and if your husband's making less, then be prepared to pay alimony if you have to. I mean, because
Right.
that's been the dynamic. But again, there's pushback on that as well. So I think that I think this dynamic is the pendulum sort of shifted to the other side, and now it's like you want all the benefits, but the responsibilities that go with that power and influence, you're kind of some ladies are not as receptive to that. So I think that's really what's going on.
Now let's go over to the chat, because some people in the chat are chatting. One of the things I see here says, we building over here says, if you can counsel a man, it's very easy to silence a man. What do you think about that, Mr. Bennett?
Well, again, we've certainly seen that, or certainly we've seen the attempts to do so. But again, where are the? Because again, a lot of times when these things happen, where are the men rallying together to stand up for?
Right.
Now, again, one thing I'm seeing, I mean, certainly ladies have definitely been a lot more in terms of like mobilization, in terms of building coalitions. We see our Black women, we see how they're moving politically and how they've been able to advocate for themselves. And I think men have to be just as bold. I don't want to see a tug of war, but if we see something that's out of order, men need to be able to speak up and push back. In that case. So absolutely, that's very possible.
And the reason I see Tyrus in the building, what's going on, Tyrus? He said men aren't being silenced. I think that in the climate that we're living in today, I'll drop the link in a second, guys. I think in the climate that we're living in today, men are being silenced, not by telling them that, but they're showing you in their actions, right? So you can't tell a woman how great she looks anymore because you're afraid of Me Too. You can't express how you feel about anything as far as heterosexual men, because if you don't agree with another group of people, they'll take your job. You'll be fired. You can't say nothing, right? You can't speak up. If you speak up, the way they shut you up is by firing you, taking your job. You're not able to work, make a living anymore. We see what happened with Kevin Hart. We've seen what happened with a lot of other people who spoke up against the things that they said they didn't want their children to be around. I was listening to a pastor today. He was saying that he teaches his children that a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and there's no other way around it. And he says that, a lot of people were saying that, sending in messages after he spoke that sermon saying that he needs to be fired. He needs to step down because he does not understand God. And because God created everybody, which is true, but they also feel as a group that God created trans men to be men. And so basically they're saying God made a mistake and he needs to go back and fix it. So what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Bennett?
Again, it's a if we're going to talk about free speech and expression of ideas, I think his speech should be allowed at the table. If anything, I would say you then make a better argument. Now, again, I think that cuts both ways. I mean, there's so much, it's easier just in general to try to silence entry or try to prevent entry into a marketplace. You see this with a lot of monopolies, even just corporate-wise monopolies and whatnot, preventing people from getting to the market because you control the majority of the market. But again, if for a lot of these people who talk about capitalism, if you're truly about capitalism, laissez-faire capitalism in particular, everybody gets a chance to compete, and it's up to you then to come up with the better ideas and the more innovative and to win the customers over. But there's so much once you have an audience, you just want to keep the conversation side to yourself. But all I'm saying is make a better argument. If you don't like what the pastor said, then again, make a better argument or build a better environment for people to be accepted or whatever. You certainly don't have to go to his church, or you don't have to go to anyone's a church or whatever. But in a free marketplace of ideas, there needs to be a space for everybody. So I'll fight for anybody to have a seat at a seat in the marketplace. But if you can't compete in that marketplace, then then maybe you shouldn't be there.
Right. I agree. How can I say it? So in the corporate world, I can speak from this perspective. And I think I said this before a few weeks back. They were talking about preparing for Pride and the Pride Day and the Pride and the Pride. What size, and the Pride this and the Pride, right? And so they asked me, what size shirt do you want to celebrate? And I was like, I don't need a shirt. And the first thing that the young lady said to me was, oh, you must be homophobic. I'm homophobic because I don't want to wear a t-shirt with a rainbow on it. Right. And so she was like, yeah, I don't understand. We can celebrate Black History Month, but we can't celebrate LGBTQ AI plus month. But why are we comparing the two? Because I'm not walking around here in a what do you call it? Dashiki, right? Matter of fact, I asked her. I said, "Listen, if I get you a dashiki, would you wear the dashiki?" Well, I don't think that's something that I think it's okay. Well, understand why I'm not going to wear the shirt,
right?
But, you know, but then one of the guys at the workplace, they were talking about him. What happened last year? They asked him the same thing about, you know, he didn't say anything vulgar. How they said it to me, they said that they asked him about participating, taking pictures, and all this other stuff. And he told them, no, I'm not wearing a t-shirt. And they said the next day he came in a complete black suit, vest, shirt, jacket, pants. Like he just came in like the Grim Reaper. And a lot of people went to HR on him because they felt like he was against the movement. And so, yeah. So when it comes to that, Mr. Bennett, I mean, what are your thoughts on if you don't be in the circle, then we'll take everything from you. If you don't believe in what we believe in, we'll take everything from you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's wrong. I think it's you know, and even on the point about Black history, like even comparison, I say let's compare it. You know, I'm saying you don't have to celebrate Black history, you know, because again, I think a lot of even the celebrations and whatnot, or even Juneteenth coming up, I mean, it's more symbol than substance. Are you trying to move the needle to work on some of the inequalities that might be happening in the world and whatnot, or are you just giving us a platitude? I remember Walmart, they try to sell Juneteenth ice cream, like Neapolitan ice cream. So again, you know, so you can do a lot of you can do a lot of symbolism, but where's the substance behind it? So I don't need you to celebrate that particular holiday. So if you want to compete on those grounds, again, it's an open marketplace. Anyone's free to participate. If you're not, then you shouldn't feel pressured to do so. So again, I'm just not down with the censoring of people or the perception that if a person is not it's not with the program that they should be
Black David. Black David, you almost failed.
I was trying to turn off the light and the camera, my head got jacked up.
Turn the camera on, Black David. Just turn it off. Wait a minute. I'm trying. Wait. Hold on.
Colin,
what's going on?
I heard you say. I didn't know if you knew this.
No, I'm just asking you what's going on.
No, you didn't. You did not have this.
No hair.
Back up for a second. I just want to get clarity. You hear what you're saying out loud?
You're wrong for this. You're so wrong for this. You're so wrong for this.
Oh man. Okay.
I was trying to get myself set up. I forgot something. Let me get this set and this. Look about the cable.
Oh, I got you, brother. Okay, you good. Oh, I got another clip coming now. Oh. All right, so guys, welcome CBN in the building tonight. Welcome Jay Takashi. Tyrus is in the building tonight, man. Thank you guys for being here tonight. So you guys heard, you've been in the chat, so you've heard what me and how me and Mr. Ben opened the show up tonight. What are your thoughts on what you heard so far? We'll start with Jay Takashi first, man. What's up?
Man, the young blood gotta go first. 31-year-old.
Yeah, go ahead. 31.
Don't rub it in.
I wish I give me leeway like y'all, man. I want to be 40. Dead ass. Man, y'all give me leeway. But okay, so my thoughts particularly on this I would say there's always a quote unquote a system that we had that's always been made to like cancel people in a sense, but we're in this era now where it's like at its all-time worst. Let's just keep it real, because when you cancel somebody, you're also trying to silence someone, and I'm not with that BS. That's terrible. If somebody has something to say, they should be allowed to say it. Now men particularly have been putting on a back burner a little bit in the sense of this is what I mean. Because I know what Tyrus says, well, not all men are being silenced. Well, I'm going to say this. The ones who are saying truth are the ones that are being silenced, because it's making it seem as if like they're so villainous, they're so rash with that, but that's what they're painting, what they're saying. Doesn't mean, but that's not, but like I said, you're paying attention to how you feel about what they said instead of what's actually being said. And now you're taking it to the nth degree where it's like you just murdered someone's child because you said that, which is not really the case. And I hear a lot of this during a couple of media, media posts and things like that. Every now and then, because I've kind of stayed away from it, but it's a problem, yes. But I think the best thing you can do, I don't want to say activists, use that word out. I'll take that word out. Men just need to gather together, particularly conform their ideals and actually get a point across if they need to. Because I've always said if all men protest, I don't think they would. I think more often than not they would get their points across through directly to other men and also just direct. That's how I actually think. But I think another aspect is that we shouldn't let it discourage us. We should use whatever they use against us to make us stronger. And just like it's funny, I say clap back. In this case, we strike back with full force, and we actually get our points across of what we have going on and what we need to say. Like I said, in the great words of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they always got their points across, regardless of anything. May have differences, but they still got the point across to their people. Even if some didn't listen, some did. So that's particularly what I think. Mr. Blackman Unfiltered, you good?
All right, Mr. Let's see here. Tyrus, what's your thought?
I think, unfortunately, people confuse like freedom of speech with freedom of criticism, freedom from criticism. And you're entitled to your speech. You're not entitled to being heard. Those are two different things. So, for example, right now, no one on this platform can ever be accused of being silenced because we are currently live streaming on the biggest video live streaming platform on the planet. Right now, there could be millions of people who aren't going to listen to a damn thing you have to say, but you still got up on this platform and you said it. You still got up on this other social media site and typed it. By the way, isn't a sign of freedom the fact that people felt they were being silenced? So they created their own social media app in order to remain heard on the internet. Is that not freedom? How can you claim to be silenced at that point? Right now, people think that they're free from having their feelings hurt. And unfortunately, having your feelings hurt is not elite. Right? And unfortunately, for some of my men, thankfully, the majority of men are good men out here, but we got too many men right now who it's not that no one's listening to you, it's just that you're not really saying anything. Like at the end of the day, it's about practicing what you preach. And a lot of you guys are preaching, but not practicing. Like, again, I say it all the time. What does your resume say? Does your resume say that you are qualified to be treated as a leader? Or does your resume say in clutch time, you keep missing shots? Right? Like, and people have a hard time acknowledging that truth because men today have a hard time giving ourselves that gut check needed.
The only pushback I would have is I do feel as if we are silenced even on this platform right now. Let me tell you why. Because if I start to tell you how I feel about a certain group of people, and I say the wrong thing, this stops in the middle. Matter of fact, this has happened to me in the last few weeks. Black David was here. We was in the middle of a show, and it went off. Matter of fact, weeks before that, I had a show in the middle of the night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and we said something wrong. Somebody said the wrong word, and it hit the algorithm, and YouTube shut it down. So you are kind of silenced because you really don't have freedom of speech on YouTube. The policies don't allow you to have free speech. So they'll shut you down right in the middle of your live. They'll shut you down.
Black Men Unfiltered, you do realize that government doesn't apply the moment you click the terms of service, right? You are not on a platform ran by the government. You're on a platform ran by the corporation. A corporation has every single right to dictate what they can or what they will and will not allow on their platform, because again, they are not a government agency. They are a private business. So when you agree to whoever owns YouTube, when you agree to using their platform, that's the rules. For example, black men, let's say I go into your house and your rule is no shoes on the carpet. And I come in and I step all over your carpet with my shoes. Are you saying that, well, I should be allowed to do that? I shouldn't have to respect your rules, right? That's not my house, or that's not your house.
I don't think there should be a bias, though. Let me tell you why. Black Men Unfiltered can say something about a group of people or a set of people, and they'll shut me off. Well, then while I'm shut down, I look over at another platform ran by a woman, and she's telling women, encouraging women to delete babies. And she's not even using delete. She's using other words. Never got pulled. Never got taken down. Never lost her channel.
Well, what you're omitting is that human error. For example,
no, I'm talking about company. They allow what's most popular.
But here's the thing: the way things are done like that and handled, YouTube actually has it employs a ton of people, and it's people who go around and take channels down and stuff like that, right? So let's say the algorithm misses that from the woman, or number one, someone should be reporting that. If it's against YouTube policies, then report it. YouTube will take it down. And
but that's what I was saying. A lot of men have reported it. A lot of men have reported it. It's never been taken down. Never been taken down ever.
File a complaint, something, and because if enough people, I do know this: if enough people complain about it, they will do something about it. They will. They really don't have a choice, because you don't want that kind of attention in the press that YouTube is biased. Because when enough people galvanize and complain about it, it becomes real. And YouTube cares about their bottom line, their money. They're gonna make moves. Period. Full stop. And when it comes to your speech on YouTube, when you sign that agreement, this thing, people don't read the agreement. Part of that agreement is that they get to take, they get to monitor what you say, and they get to take your content down depending on what you say. You literally agree to it. It's not just working for the company. Like, you can work for a company, but if you never sign an agreement to give them that authority to govern your speech, they can't do it. That's why you have to sign contracts and stuff when you sign up with a new employer, or when you want to come with YouTube or Twitch or any other streaming services. It's in there. It's just we don't read it because it's so much to read. That's the gag. They give you this 86-page printout that you just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and you just scroll. Except we've accepted what we didn't know is in there. And it's not even fine print anymore. It's kind of like out in the open. But there's so much of a word salad, we don't bother.
Hey, Mandrell, doesn't law enforcement say it all the time? Ignorance of the law is no reason to break
it does not absolve you of it. And we do it, and it's a mind play. I'm with you on that. It's messed up that they put it all in one package, knowing people aren't going to read that stuff. Because honestly, who has? You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying? And you know what? And I'll say this as a content creator, I'm getting emails. I should have had this together, but I didn't know we was going to get too deep into it. But I have emails after emails of shows I did last year. YouTube's contacting me about shows I did 12 months ago. Right? They took all my Black History shows off. All those. You're not going to play those, brother. We got you. That's gone. Right? Talking about Black.
Too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I can't compliment you enough on that. Truth. You weren't around then, but them Black History shows, top notch.
And YouTube said, we're not going to allow you to sit on here and show videos and pictures of white men feeding Black babies to alligators. Oh no, that's not going to happen, brother. you're done. If you don't do, if you listen, we're giving you 24 hours to remove it, and if it's not removed in 24 hours, we're going to remove it. But I'm only teaching history. I'm only showing that they used to take infants from slave women, and they would tie a wire around their legs and throw them in front of the swamp. And then when the babies cry, the gators will come up and snag them and get caught up in the wire, and they will go out and take the gators out. Take the gators out and throw the baby out in the water. Right? And I'm telling the truth about these things. And I told them about Devil's Punch Bowl, right? How they, when the slaves were free, they put them all down in the hole and let them all starve to death and die of thirst. And they buried them down in that punch bowl. And even to this day, when the river floods, the overflow goes into Devil's Punch Bowl. And when it drains out, those bones of those people are still there. They're coming up. They're finding bones every year. And now peaches grow there. Some of the best peaches in the state grow in that Devil's Punch Bowl. And the black people there say that the punch bowl is cursed, and they will never even bite of one of the peaches because they think they're cursed. And so, but a lot of travelers, a lot of white people get in there and start getting them and getting baskets of them, taking them home, making pies, or taking them home just to eat them. But you know what's under those roots of those peaches? Those are bodies. And so when I talked to all those things, they took it away from me. They silence me when it comes to history. They don't want me teaching history because I'm giving it so raw. They just took it.
Yeah,
but so that's
people, unfortunately, I saw some of the comments that were left on those videos before they made you take them down.
Right.
A lot of people did not know that using slave babies as gator bait for when they're hunting alligator, they didn't know it was a thing, and because they compliment you a lot. They're like, they did their research and they didn't know that it was that big of a deal. Like that was something that was rampant in the South. It started down there in Louisiana, and it migrated in other places. Mississippi, Southern Alabama, down in Mobile, Florida. But it started there in Louisiana. A lot of people didn't know that it was that big of a thing. And now Florida, they kept their stuff on the hush hush, but it was real bad there because you got the Everglades. There's lots of swampland in Florida. So, like I said, it was, again, if you could find someplace else to put it so people can have access to it, do that, because that needs to be. Those really were that was your best work. Still to this day,
right? And I'm gonna say this as well, Mr. Bennett. I don't know if you got a chance to see those shows, Mr. Bennett, but okay, yeah, they actually had pictures. These white men were so bold; they took pictures of the alligator, of the children in the alligator's mouths. And I actually showed the pictures. They showed black babies with their hands up like this, turned sideways, like split in half, with the baby just laying on in the alligator's mouth while the alligators just clamp down on the baby. So it's like when you start telling that history, and people be like, that's why when I hear people say, "Oh man, that's over with." Yes, that's over with, man. But how many babies did we lose to that swamp? And then on top of that, Mr. Bennett and y'all, they had postcards or they had newspaper ads. If you're looking for alligator skin and alligator meat, or if you have slave babies that you don't want them to have, bring those babies to us. We use them as bait. They put an ad out for people to bring babies. And I put the newspaper ads on the video. I had everything. And YouTube said, "Oh no, sir. We cutting that today. We're silencing you today. That's coming down. You're not sharing that."
They were the actual advertisements for him. The actual, he really did have the actual shit and showed it.
I respect you, BM, so much for posting.
Yeah,
that.
I love the actual ads for it, Tarus. He posted this stuff up,
and it was sick. It was sick to look at, bro. It was sick to see them babies rolled up in them alligator mouths like that.
Yeah,
it was.
But people have to see it.
Yeah, people have to see it.
They have to see it.
But that's why I said when they silence you, when I put those videos out and I talked about the Devil's Punch Bowl and I talked about the lady's body, Sarah Bateman, how they cut her butt cheeks off and her breast off, and even after she died, they kept it in a museum until Nelson Mandela became president, and he went and bought her from the museum and they buried her. Right? And so when I put those stories out that people don't know nothing about, man, they just say, "Oh, I got the email still, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Black Men Unfiltered Network. I'm sorry. These have to be removed.
Let me say something about this.
They have to be removed.
Let me say something about this.
So go ahead, Black David.
For the past 10 to 15 years, people in the U.S. and in Europe and Africa who are from the Black diaspora have been uncovering stuff that's been hidden.
Before you get too deep, Black David, before you get too deep, I'm going to say something real quick. Hank, thank you for being here tonight, my brother. Hey, man, my brother, man. Hey, listen, we prayed for you. Man, we love you, brother. We know you lost your dad, man, and we really love you, man. Prayers to you and your family, and I hope you guys are the grieving process. Whatever you need from us, man, just know that we love you and Nidra and your family, brother, and we here for you, JT. So much love to you, brother. You got anything you want to say, Black David? You okay with him saying something real quick?
Let him go ahead. He's our brother.
Yeah, JT, go. You got anything you want to say to anybody, or you got anything you want to say, brother?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good.
We can hear you.
Yeah, man. It's been a ordeal, bro. Most definitely. I tried to prepare for it. It wasn't like it was something that was sudden. It was something that we was we're still dealing with. But I appreciate all you brothers, the love that you guys brought over here, the prayers that you have brought to me and my family, and we still working it out or whatever, man. But I appreciate you, brothers. I appreciate the love. I felt it over here, Mr. Bennett. I appreciate you, my man Dusto. I appreciate him, Black man. You know I appreciate you, brother. Everybody that's on this panel, man. I appreciate y'all. Hink, all y'all, Tyrus, everybody, man. We out here have to deal with something, man. When it comes down to losing your parent, I've heard Mandrell speak about it. I've heard a lot of other people speak about it. I heard, I don't know, Mr. Bennett, did you ever, you haven't lost your parents, have you?
Oh, you muted, brother.
You're muted.
Yeah, actually, I lost my dad in 2018.
Okay. So one of the things I do know is that just by hearing you brothers and everybody that's lost a parent or both their parents or whatever, is that it's not an easy thing for us to do. One of the things I'm learning from this ordeal is that these conversations we have, man, we have to have them, but we have to have them in the spirit of building communities. Because I don't know where my mom would be if her and my father did not raise us right. I don't know where they would be at right now. So they put that investment in me. They put that investment into my brother. They put that investment into, I got two cousins that was raised. They raised them too. And we all pull together. We're pulling together. And the only thing I could say is, man, we have to really take these conversations very seriously, especially when we're talking about this thing called marriage. This thing called marriage, because it's not about the two people. It's about everything that they're connected to. So that's the only thing I got to say, man. Again, I appreciate you brothers for really pouring out your love to me. I told you, this is some months ago. I was looking for a circle to be around. I found that fucking circle, bro. I found that circle, and it took me at least 20 years to find this type of a circle, man. Fortify. That's all I can tell you. You got to fortify your community, no matter what it is. If it's on YouTube, if it's in the community that you live in, or everywhere where you touching someone, please be the best person that you can be. Have integrity, because it pays off at the end.
All right. Anybody want to respond to JT? Got anything you want to say to JT? Go ahead.
I will say that I lost my dad, but before I lost my dad,
Love you, bro, man. I'm glad you keeping your spirits up, man.
Most
I'll say that I lost my father too, but before I lost my father, he went mentally ill, and I was able trying to forgive him for my past hurt. But when I tried to build a relationship back, he didn't have enough time on earth, and when he passed away back in my country, I didn't know how he died. The information was kept from me, so I thought to beat myself up because I wish I could have tried better. Because I grew up in a family where people keep secrets from me for years. And I got to find out on my own by digging and clawing and finding out what the heck is going on. So I understand that very well. This is why if you have seen me around my kids or my grandkids, I am beyond motivated to make sure not only I be the greatest dad I could ever be to my kids, but also the greatest grandfather to my grandkids as well. I want to make sure that they're well equipped with everything they need to know before my time is up on this earth. I'm not going to allow it. So when you see how I act or how I conduct myself, how I move around, I have to be genuine. I cannot be fake about it. And I'm glad I found it better because I'll be honest, Black man called me up the other day because he saw me when unleashed, and not just a peel or two, because I do whatever I can to control whatever beastly rage that might come out of me. Because I can't be that around my kids. And my kids know I don't get angry easy around them because I'm always concerned about them. Something happened yesterday. My son was playing around after school, out of their school. And I wanted not to do that. Somehow my wife went out to go and pick him up. She saw our son in the street pulling his friend after he got hit by a car. I got the update today that my son told me his friend, who be hanging out with him all the time, and I know who he is, he got some broken ribs, he has broken foot, and a broken arm. He'll be out for the whole year. And I always tell my son, get out of school, don't hang around in certain areas. I have my reason why I don't want you to be there. And I had to sit, I know he was startled. I told my daughter was scared because she thought her brother got hit. Well, he was pulling his friend out under the car. And he was shocked. It happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. So when I watch my kid come home, I could tell just from their body language that they haven't recovered from that incident. And I'm not the helicopter dad, but I'm that kind of dad who's trying, you're not gonna believe that I'm trying to overfill them with enough wisdom and insight to know how to make proper decisions beforehand. Because where I live in Brooklyn, it's not that simple. You got to be completely aware of your surroundings. You can't be naive without trying to teach my own young son and my young daughter. So I understand, JT, because what your mom and your dad did to you, it made you who you are right now. I got a stepdaughter, I'm doing the same exact thing. And this woman, young woman, beautiful young woman, had the humbleness to tell me I'm much a greater dad to her than her actual father. Because I always consistently try to instill wisdom to her, even though she's not my blood, but I take her, I think she is my blood. This is who I really am. I'm like the African grizzly bear who want to make sure any child around me gets enough wisdom and understanding.
But there are no grizzly bears in Africa.
Man, really? Yeah. What I give with my twin brother?
Then I got you. Yo, JT,
okay?
I'm sorry. You're making it so depressing, man. I mean, I'm over here wanting to kill myself.
Yeah, man, Joe, I love you.
Damn, like David, it's a sad moment. I get it, but bruh.
Yo, Black man, I'll say something next real quick.
You see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Yo, brother JT, I wanna I love you, man, Joe. I really do. Yo, JT, brother, listen. Shout out to you, brother, for knowing your father, things like that. Most brothers don't even get to experience that. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. I have talks with my father, and he's 70-something right now. I talk with him every day. I'm trying to learn as much as I can from him, but also spend time to hear his stories, all this stuff. And the reason why is I want to take part and cherish each moment I have with him, and literally use that in order to make myself grow even better. Because like I said, I'm 31. I'm still growing, particularly. I'm very responsible right now, but there's so much I still want to learn from him before. I don't even want to talk about it, don't even think about it, but I know it will happen one day. Hate to think like that. But the thing is, I'm taking the time to know him now. All the things that he's gonna leave behind and everything that he cultivated into me and his other sons and daughters, things like that. So, so what you said and what you've gone through with your father and things like that, and things that he's taught you to be the man you are now. much love and much respect to that, because I think that's very important. Because I've always said, just as much as I always say it like this: a man's bond with his son is a very awesome thing in regards to anything. And when I have my own son in the near future, most likely I have to carry on the tradition that he passed on to me, to my kid. That's how I see what I'm gonna have to do. And also, like I said, it's something that's, like I said, you can't take away that father-son relationship for anything, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, my brother, man, respect to you and your families, man. I hope, like I said, I know you'll pull through. You got, trust me, you're surrounded by a group of men who actually do care about you and who understand a little bit of your struggles. Because I know when I say a little bit, I don't mean we know everything, but we know what you've taught us, but also you've given us the frame to what to look for. So, thank you, brother. I hope you do well.
Appreciate that. Anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, JT, you say you lost your father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through the same thing, man. You need to talk or anything like that, give me a shout. You got my number.
For sure. You know how hard it is right now, bro. That's why I kind of
you don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to move. You don't want to get nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to eat. You don't want to do anything. It's man. It's a rough one.
I think the biggest thing is because I still have to. I don't want to call it strong. I just have to stay focused because my mom, she knew my father way longer than I knew him. So they've been together since they were 18 years old, and that was the first time I probably seen my mom, look as lost as she is right now. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that I'm getting, like I said, I take this as a lesson, a life lesson, because I don't look at this when we lose somebody as it's just them. We go in the same direction. So what do? We have to fortify our communities so we can at least live on for, I don't know if it's going to be eternity, but as long as we have DNA, as long as we have sparked something in somebody's mind or something like that, it lives on. It's a lot that we can contribute to this world to live on. So that's one of the things I look at. And I also look at these, when we had these conversations, I try to come from a space to build. And that's basically where it comes down, because none of us are guaranteed to live tomorrow or the next day or next month. So what do? We come out here, man, and we contribute. Whether we do it on talk shows, whether we do it where we contribute, teach, we do something out here. And this is why when we talk about our value, it's very important. You have to have some value to be out here. You can't be just existing in here and then trying to get somebody to respect you. That's not how this go. This don't go that route. So I appreciate you, brothers, man. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Shout out to everyone that contribute face apps. I'm still kind of messed up, but cash apps and all the different contributes that you guys did. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, this is my first time hearing it. I know I hadn't seen you in a while. I just didn't know this was going on with you. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know you lost somebody. So, I mean, for my absence, I apologize for that. I just didn't know. I'd have called you a long time ago.
JT, I did not know until just now.
I'd have called you a long time ago had I known.
No worries, brother. I already know where your heart is.
Yeah,
so.
I got worried about him too, because I was calling him repeatedly and he wasn't answering. And then Mandrell just said it. When you go through something like this, I have to learn. You don't want to talk to anybody. So I respected that, man. But I was just worried about my brother, man. I was just reaching out to him. I sent Nidra a message, told her I was praying for y'all, man. I said, how's my brother doing? You ain't got to say nothing to him. Just let him just give me a yes. He doing good or he ain't? And she said, he's good. He in good spirits. I said, okay, thank God. So I'm going to leave him alone. He'll call me when he's ready. So, man, I'm glad to see you tonight, brother. I really am, bro.
Absolutely. I definitely get what you're talking about, having to focus. A lot of times, like I said, we don't talk. I didn't want to hear from a lot of people. It wasn't that I wasn't appreciative of the comments of people, but I just knew I automatically had to go into planning mode. I had to work with the hospitals. I had to work with his. My dad was a vet. I had to get his veteran affairs done, his insurance. So in fact, I even told my wife. I said for the next few weeks, I may not be that available to you and the kids. Like, I just need you to run the house while I take care of these issues. And so just let me flesh those out. And then I also had my mom, who was also under care as well. So I was taking care of my dad and I was taking care of my mom. They weren't together, but they both had their own issues. So I had to make sure that her affairs were in order as well as his. And so I just didn't need everybody calling up saying, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear," and whatnot. "Hey, you okay?" or whatnot. I said, "Look, let me just get to work." And I just totally got into that mode. So it's, for a lot of us, I understand that, why, and I'm not one to necessarily reach out. I may ping you one time, say, "Hey, just thinking about you," or whatever. But if you have need to talk, I'm here. But I'm not a guy who just keeps wanting to pry in and check up on people, because I can appreciate that process. And sometimes, you're dealing with stuff, especially with the insurance company. We had a lot of stuff we had to deal with as far as insurance, life insurance, and things of that nature. And so I just, I just had to just block out everything else so I could really make sure things went down the way they needed to.
Absolutely. I'm glad life taught me a lot when I was younger, man, because I was a hothead. I didn't want to listen to a lot of things when I got mad. So as being, the age I am right now, man, I'm so patient. I said, damn, boy, I learned a lot of patience and grace. I'm glad it was at this point right here where I'm at right now, man, because I can handle things a lot more better now than I couldn't see myself at 25, 26 years old trying to handle what I'm handling right now. Mm-hmm. But I see what life is all about, bro. And I appreciate you, brothers, man. Most definitely. I already know over here in this space over here, man, how brothers is. So that's all I've been trying to do, man, is handle business. That's it.
All right. Anybody else want to show some love, Rick? I know he. Okay, there you go. Here you go.
JG, I seen you when you posted on Facebook, so that's when I said what I said to you, man. So again, sorry for your loss. But let me say this while we have this moment, man. If you guys don't have a life insurance policy, please get that. That's one less thing that your family has to really worry about, is the cost and coverage and paying for the services. You really don't want to put that burden on for the people who's already grieving for not you no longer being here, but then to put a financial burden on top of it, it's rough. It really is. I don't see somebody out here, trying to Cash App or Venmo or PayPal or selling fish dinners, chicken dinners to try to raise money to bury us, because that shouldn't happen. We all seem like we're blessed enough to financially afford at least a minimum a life insurance policy. So definitely get into it. I'm not an insurance salesperson, so it's not like I'm better. I just want to share that. So that's one less burden that your family, your kids, and your loved ones should have to deal with.
And if you try to get one for your if you can afford it, try to get one for your parents also, because a lot of times your parents, they won't go through that paperwork to try to get that. But if you can get some sort of insurance, or at least burial insurance for your parents, that's worth having on the side as well, because there's a lot of folks I've seen, just to King's point, I've seen people call when their parents die, they don't have any life insurance, they don't have anything available, and they got to fit that bag. So so definitely, if you can take out something for your parents, definitely as sons, make sure that's, or just children in general, make sure that piece is handled as well for them.
All right. Now I wanted to we love you, brother. I want to play now. I want to get into the show here because I want you guys to see something. I want you to see how and why I think men are necessary and shouldn't be censored or shouldn't be silenced, because men play a significant part in protection. And we'll start there. I want to play this video. You guys probably have already seen it, but I want to play this again for you guys that have not, and then we'll discuss it after. Here we go.
Your mother's waiting at the restaurant to go get something to eat. Come on, let's go.
Wait, do you I'm okay back.
Excuse me, sir.
No, I don't.
Yes, I know her. I know her mother. So I'm a friend of hers. It's fine.
That's not what I asked you. What's her name?
Do me a favor, man. Could you just mind your own business? Appreciate it. Come on.
That's my business. What's her name?
How about you go back on your phone and mind your own business, and we'll be on our way. Come on.
Whoa, bro. This not happening on my watch. What's her name? I'm gonna ask you again. What's her name?
Okay.
I'm about to say R.I.P. You don't know what I got on my back. What's her name? If not, bye.
Man, that guy right there,
just right. Oh,
the guy that's actually talking to the little girl, he's doing a social study on how men will go right into protecting someone they don't even know, love, or care about. And so he's the actual guy. He has the video set up. He has a team with video cameras, and they just go up to. They have the little girl sit on the bench and have little men, and he'll come up like he's a man that's trying to take her away. And while people are just on their phones, whatever the situation may be, and that guy right there, that was real. That guy said, "Listen, bro, I'm about to tell you R.I.P." You know, and he even know the little girl. You know, so
that's
what are you guys
supposed to do? That's what you do.
Exactly.
Children are vulnerable.
To do that.
Yeah, children are vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, a lot of people are afraid of confrontation, and they're too afraid of confrontation to even protect a child.
Right.
Like he was right. What's her name?
What's her name?
But don't worry about it. No, what's her name? You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me. You know this kid, but you can't tell me what her name is? Kick rocks. You know what I'm saying?
But Mandrell, if it were you, and he said, "Mind your own business," and he said, "Huh?"
I tell him beat feet.
Anybody else want to?
That means get out of here. That's an army term.
Hey, I know. Yeah. Anybody else want to respond?
No, I respond. Like I would tell him, hey, listen, you better keep stepping. Literally.
Yeah, keep moving. You know her, but you can't tell me her name. Nah, bro.
That's
like,
the first.
Like he said, this ain't happening on my watch. Not
but
to,
what do you,
especially for me, not with a child.
Yeah,
it's a thing with me when people go after children.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what do you say to the men, or to the? We've heard this, Mandrell. What do you say to the men that we've heard in these spaces say, "I protect my own. What ain't my business ain't my business."
You just as bad as the abuser. You in the same category with me. That's a child. What do you mean it ain't your business?
Yeah,
that's a kid who's gonna go out and suffer some trauma and come back out in the world.
Worse.
But this is the thing.
Become God knows what, and have God knows what kind of mindset.
Until he gets his head blown off for stepping in.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If that man was actually, you know, in that scenario, if he actually was that woman's boyfriend or whoever he was, he would have told what the name was so they could just move on. Most men, we try to alleviate issues. We don't try to make it worse.
Right.
Now it's starting not to be more of the truth nowadays because, you know, we got other generations. But normally, if, for instance, say that if I was the guy that told her that we supposed to be meeting your mom, whatever, and that guy was like, well, what's her name? I'm going to respect that man is protecting her. And so me and him about to have a conversation. Her name is such and such. She comes from, I'm going to give him the information that he needs so we can just move on. That's normally what it is. That's the purpose of asking, what's her damn name then? So when it comes down to it, you have to put yourself in that position sometimes. It's just not, we can't think of it. It's just, that's what it is. That's what we are built to do, period. And anybody, and right now, any man that does not do that, that man is a fucking coward. If a child is looking lost, the first thing that you would ask that child is, do you know where you are?
Right.
Are you lost? What's your parents' name? And the next thing we're gonna do is go to the police or the fire station, or whatever we need to do to get that child there. I might have something else I need to do, but I can't get to that place and I'm not gonna leave that child
by herself
stranded like that. That's just what we do.
Exactly. And, okay, so somebody in the Facebook chat said, play the video again. So I'm gonna play it one more time, guys. Here we go.
Your mother's waiting at the restaurant to go get something to eat. Come on, let's go.
Wait, do you? I'm gonna call you back.
Excuse me, sir.
No, I don't.
Yeah, oh, yes, I know her. I know her mother. So
What's her name?
I'm a friend of hers. It's fine.
That's not what I asked you. What's her name?
Do me a favor, man. Could you just mind your own business? Appreciate it. Come on.
That's my business. What's her name?
How about you go back on your phone and mind your own business, and we'll be on our way. Come on.
Whoa, bro. This not happening on my watch. What's her name? I'm gonna ask you again. What's her name?
Okay.
I'm about to say R.I.P. You don't know what I got on my back. What's her name? If not, bye.
That's respect.
That's the right thing to do.
The entire video is fake. The whole video is fake. Even the man's response is fake. First of all, you don't sit like that if you have a weapon in the middle of your back. That's not how you sit. You can't sit.
Well, he didn't have a weapon.
No, he didn't have a weapon.
So what did he have behind his back then?
He was bluffing. He was bluffing.
He's bluffed it. Yeah.
Bluffing. A high stakes bluff, but hey.
Yeah, because
then that makes it even more stupid.
Right.
Then,
so what happened is,
listen, you don't fake a weapon, because if somebody challenges the weapon and you don't have anything, you ass out. That doesn't make any sense. The other part of this is that if you watch his eyes before the guy walks up, he's already fixated on the guy before he even gets there.
I would be
if you not if you on the phone, not like that. The guy's on the phone. I can understand if he wasn't on the phone, but he's supposedly on the phone having a conversation. If you watch that guy's eyes before the guy walks actually into frame, he's already looking at him as he's walking up to the girl. So I just think the whole video is fake. And
the video could be fake, but the scenario.
At the end of the day, all you do is pay attention to the child. The child will let you know whether or not the adult is family. They know the person. They're comfortable with them. They're familiar with them. Most times, and most people, and I'm telling you from my professional experience, they don't challenge the adult. They challenge the kid. Hey, do you know this person? What's this person's name? Right. They don't ever really challenge the adult. That's why I think this whole thing. I get the point of it, but it does a lot of it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's real world.
Right. Yeah. Because so let me tell you about the guy that does it. So he's done hundreds of them. So if you go to his Instagram, I mean, he got hundreds of them. After the person says or reacts, because there's some on the videos that he's done where people ain't done nothing. He just walked up to the girl and just took the girl and walked off with her. Ain't nobody even saying shit. They just looking in their phones, right? So, but after it's over, he'll walk up to the person and pull them to the side in their video and be like, "Hey, listen, thank you for protecting the girl. This was all about a social experiment, blah, 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 whatever, whoop de whoop," right? And he'll tell them after they defend the child or whatever, he'll bring them over and tell them who he is, shake their hand, and all that shit.
Is that the guy who has he does videos where there's a kid walking on the sidewalk and then he'll have someone just snatch the kid up and run into an alley?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen several of this guy's videos. Then you'd be amazed at how many people just let it happen.
Don't do nothing.
Just let it happen. The kid's screaming in the whole nine, screaming help or whatever. No one does a thing.
That's why, Trey, I think that is real, because what you just said, he did not do the proper protocol, because that would be the first thing that I would do is talk to the child. You know this person? You know what's going on? It'd have been a little more smoother with me. I'm not going to be acting like I got a gun when I don't. At the end of the day, I get what you're saying. And even if it was fake, the premise and what they're promoting is be more vigilant. I done seen some shit out here, bro, where I was just like, damn, they just let that shit just happen. People don't care like they used to care.
And guess what? He got one video where he comes out with a female and they're arguing with each other. And he starts just striking her in the middle of the damn plaza. And there's thousands of people walking. Nobody stops. Nobody, bro. Just, you bitch. Bop, bop, bop. Everybody just looking like, oh, okay, none of my damn business. And everybody just walking right past her, bro.
Yo, black man, I'm filtering.
Hold on. Let me think about that.
Has anybody ever been on the other end of that?
Let me think about that.
Roles reversed?
No. I'm saying, has anybody been on the end of you stepped in and it went horribly wrong for you?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, I have.
Well,
yeah.
Not that.
No.
So this is one of the. Now I'm telling you, just from my previous employment, I cannot tell you how many dudes we've had to scrape up off the ground because they stepped in between a DV. They stepped in between something going on, and they were the ones that got hurt. This is why a lot of people don't. That's why a lot of people don't interject and don't interfere in things because they don't. Their safety is in jeopardy.
That's true too.
How would I say this?
That's
based
absolutely
on
true.
your
But my
trained
thing
friend.
is that I don't think we should. But I don't think we should be coward. We should coward the fuck out for being a person of integrity. It's integrity when it comes down to it.
Is your integrity worth your life? Is it worth your life?
No. This is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, JT, is that the hill you want to die on?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would die on it. Bro, I've been
intervening in a DV is the hill y'all want to die on.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it comes on the spur of the moment, dog, and if that's the case, if that's my fate, that's my fucking fate. I'm not gonna be scared because of what may happen. Now, what I will do is be a little more vigilant on how I approach the situation. But I am not gonna sit back and cower the fuck out, and I've never done it. I've been in some situations, bro, and I live in the Metro Detroit area, and I've been in some fucking situations where I could have died because I was getting another person out of a situation that they had no business being in. So I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying, though, is that we still can't cower out. Right now, we have a society full of fucking cowards. That's crazy as hell.
That's not,
so
that's
I
not,
understand
that's not being a coward, though. That's not, you're acknowledging the fact that it's an unsafe position, yet you're saying that it's being a coward at the same time. Which one is it?
No, listen,
you can't acknowledge that it's unsafe and then say, well, you're being a coward.
No, what you said by his approach, right? His approach will get him laid the fuck out. No doubt about it, especially when you faking like you got a gun. I understand that part of it. I understand that is not a way that you do it. But we have to start teaching our people how to be a little more proactive when it comes down to being that way. I've seen people get laid out for something that they just said. So what do? Do we just coward? That's cowarding out when you just saying it ain't my business.
Now hold on. Let me think about this. Hold on. Time out. When you think about it, I have real life experience in this situation. I broke up a fight in the subway between two crazy ass idiots, and I broke up the fight because one, I want to change. No, listen before you interrupt me. At first, when they were fighting, I did not.
No, I want to know if it was male and female. Is it male and female?
Can I speak, please, before you interrupt me? Well, they got into an argument, into a fight. At first, I did not want to break up the fight because I was sleeping. But when I woke up, something told me to look to my left hand side, and they were about to fall on a grandma with her grandkid. So I went in immediately to break up the fight. One of the guys punched me in the jaw. Now, I had a strong jaw, but at the same token, I was trying to hold my anger back. Because when the guy hit me in the face, there was about maybe 22 people in the subway. I think it was the 4 train line. And when that happened, I almost blacked out. So the guy on my right hand side, I jacked him, slammed him to the subway door. The other guy had his girlfriend. We're getting into a fight. Now, my head was not registered. I'll say it again. I told the girl to take the guy off and wanted to stop because if he come any closer, I'm really going to do something to that guy. I did not like to punch him in the face for no apparent reason. The other guy who was struggling, I told him, if you don't want to dislocate your neck right now, but I'm itching to do so, better stay put. So the guy got off the subway on the next stop. I hold the guy to the next stop, you get off. And when he get up, everybody was clapping. I tell them shut the F up because I could have stopped that thing from happening because they're about to fall on a grandma with a grandchild. The second time it happened, I was on a freaking bus. 2 females were arguing and she wanted to call her so-called crew while I was on my way to work, and I told her it's not going to happen. This is New York City. Something you had to calculate when to interject, when not to interject. So before, back in the 90s and the 80s, a lot of guys would do that, but lately, when people getting stabbed, getting shot, people stepped away. I took the risk on a couple of occasions. The only thing about it is that when I got hit in the jaw, the first thing came to my mind was to kill the guy.
Yeah, but see how you put yourself. Hold on. But you talking about same sex fighting? I don't give a damn if 2 dudes fight.
No,
let them niggas fight.
You didn't hear that. No, hold on. Black man, you missed the point.
They squabbling out there now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Black David. You tripping over 2
There
dudes
was fighting about on a grandmother and a grandson.
Just grab the grandma out the way. Just grab her out the way. Let them niggas fight.
How would I grab one on the other side and then fall upon? What am I gonna do?
They gonna have to get their back dirty. Fuck that shit. I was talking about kids.
You're right.
All I knew at that time, I could have been locked up. Because what I wanted to do to those people, believe me when I say this, I enjoy freaking pain.
But you know what the messed up thing is, Black David? Your ass would have been locked up. That grandma would have been at home. Them two dudes would have got on the subway, bro. You listen, because
and your ass still in jail for assault and battery.
It's at the right time and the right moment, because at that moment I could have stayed asleep and just done my business. But when I saw the about the grandma, I was like, I'm not gonna let it happen. So I've done that a few times in New York subway.
Here's my grandma.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that people shouldn't intervene. I'm saying that we shouldn't take a crap on people who don't intervene. That's all I'm saying. In this day and age and in the society that we're in, if somebody decides that they're making a choice that they don't want to intervene, I find it a little bit difficult to say that the person's a coward, considering that we know what we know about what people do to people who intervene. Listen, if you step in, I would step in, I would intervene, but my entire life has been to help people. This is all I've ever done in my life. So it's nothing for me. I know how to be safe. I know how to deal with that. I know how to disarm a person with a gun. But I'm different, right? I'm different. Most people don't know how to do those things. So I can understand if somebody doesn't want to intervene for fear of their own safety. I get that, and I'm not gonna hold them. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna make them feel bad. Well, you ain't do nothing. You know, you should have done something. It's like, well, what if that person has kids? And if that person has kids, and then they wind up losing their life trying to protect this kid. Well, what about that person's kids now? He gave up his life.
Here's the thing.
Somebody else's child. What you
say, right.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, Trey. But this, I definitely agree with what you're saying. No doubt about it, because of how the society is right now. I gotta say, I'm probably on the fence with it right now. Just listening and real, just understanding what the society is, man. Because you got people that all they do is they take video and they won't do anything. So you actually would be stuck on your own. And it is, I just have a problem. I'm being a 70s child, man. That's this shit right here. This new type of way of how things are being in these communities, man. It got me to a point where I'm like, damn, things that used to be true, it ain't true no more. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go out there and damn, it's fucked up. I'm kind of like on the fence right
you're right, but Trey is right too, because for so long it's been either fight or flight. And for most of us guys, we don't have to question our masculinity. I know in a situation, if we for sure see that, most of us are going to try to intervene. What Trey is saying is the other end, or a lot of people, especially Black David, NYC, the king of mind your own business. But we need to start remembering the third aspect to this. Guys, a lot of people do not want to be humiliated in a social media prank. A lot of these social media influencers, they got cameras everywhere, and it's starting to desensitize people, because nobody wants to be the butt of somebody's jokes just to go viral. No, and that, unfortunately, because of social media, one of the consequences of social media is you got people minding their own business because they don't feel like dealing with that level of BS. Because that's unnecessary BS that just got brought in to a world that's filled with too much real life BS. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we gotta social media and a lot of these influencers are desensitizing our society into doing the right thing.
My instincts would probably get me. I ain't gonna even lie. My instincts probably would get me killed, bro, on some real shit. When, like, sometimes when you see some things that's just happening, man, you just act to it. You know what I'm saying? And damn, what Trey said was actually very true. Now, it's been a very, very long time since I've been in a point where I've observed some nonsense going on, right? So I can sit here and talk to you fellas right now, but I know in the 80s, man, that shit was crazy where I used to live. It was very crazy. And people intervened. Like, the neighborhood that I was in, it just wasn't no happenings. You know what I'm saying? We had, you know, people that really, really cared about their community. And it was still, you had those riffraffs that was out there. And I've seen a lot of guys, man, just when some shit went down, they intervened. It was what it was. And if anybody know anything about the city of Detroit, man, you got dudes that has been put on, been judged by 12, and they were actually in the right, but they got convicted, you know what I'm saying, because they were trying to help. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I saw a video.
That's a different dynamic too, because you talk about a group situation, right? You got many to one. When you talk about when back then, when brothers got together, you had, and then you had programs, you had Neighborhood Watch, you had all kinds of things where people acted as a collective. But in this situation, you're talking about a one-on-one. And so that's a different dynamic than when you had that group thing where you knew if somebody acted out, you can have a bunch of guys, not just one guy coming at you, but you can have a whole group of guys coming knocking at your door, pulling you out your apartment. So
right,
I think we have to take that to a situation too. One-on-one, you just don't
New York City,
odds on your side.
Yeah.
You want to talk about New York City? Be here during the 80s and the 90s. That's exactly how it was. When it got to the early 2000s, a lot of things have changed. I'm not gonna lie, I broke up, fight, or I stopped things from happening to like 3 or 4 times. The 4th time, with an idiot who was drunk, trying to look at me and think like he could whip my ass, I get a guy to look like I'm not in that mood, because I'm not gonna lie, I fought people in the street before, and I done things that I was afraid of myself for doing so. Luckily, I'm not locked up for that.
Hey man, you guys ever noticed that? Like now, think about this: people have witnessed murders on video that, and I'm talking about I don't know the number, but it's at an astronomical number of how many people have seen someone get actually murdered now, opposed to in the 90s, 80s, 70s, and 60s. It wasn't as many people because we can see it on video now. And it's crazy because who've ever thought that somebody would be able to video their own murder?
I saw that, yeah.
Whether they were the murderer or the one that was being murdered. So I get exactly what Trey is saying right now. It's like, damn, right. My way of thinking is very skewed because of what society is right now. So
I don't think it's skewed, JT. I think your view of thinking is the better of our society. I think the better of our society created men who would intervene, and I think that's why you took that stance, because you would represent the better of our society. I don't think it's skewed at all. I just think that I've seen things differently. I've unfortunately had to put guys in body bags who intervened, and it did not work out well for them. You know what I mean? And guess what? The girl wound up going right back to the man. Yep. This man lost his life for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, and this is and like I said, I'm not saying that I wouldn't intervene, because I would intervene, and I have intervened. I'm just saying that a lot of men, you have to be careful. You have to assess the situation. You really have to turn into the Terminator and really break it down. Like, how many people is it? How big is this guy? Does he have any weapons? You really have to assess the situation, because it could be a situation where you take the brunt of the punishment and the violence that wasn't even meant for you, because you're trying to do the right thing. I just want guys to be careful. That's all. Right.
Before we go to the second video here, I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys saw it. There's this guy in this Dodge Ram truck, silver or grayish Dodge Ram truck. Anyway, a guy and his girlfriend were into it. He put the truck between the two of them, and the woman was in the front of the truck. The guy, the boyfriend who was arguing and being aggressive, was on the side of the truck. So the guy's just talking to the girl. You okay? You good? Do I need to get out? Blah, 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 blah. The dude walked up to the window and said, "Hey, man, don't talk to her." And he's still talking to the girl. The dude took the gun out. I wish I could show it on YouTube. That to take me all the way out. But he taps the door of the truck with the gun, and he puts the gun over in the window and shot him. Pop! And the dude, you can hear the dude say, "Ah, shit!" And he hit the gas and sped off in the truck trying to get himself to the hospital. So look, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I think it's in a man to just go do it. It's just in a man to protect. You know what I mean? But sometimes your ass will you get folded up. But I got a second video I want to show you guys. I know Hink, the first person I want to see after this one.
Well, let me speak on this.
Go ahead.
The last time I did that, man, I almost got stabbed. and I'll never do it again. I will never do it again, man. Because they try to set me up robbing, man. So no, I never do it again. So
what? This was a kid?
No, not a kid. I'm talking about a domestic violence situation. No, I had to do with a kid. Domestic violence situation. So the next time I seen it happen, I called 911. That's the best I could do for you. I called the police. Hey, they right down the street by this Kroger's. You might want to get down there. This dude is whooping her ass. Because I won't put myself in that situation again. I got too much to live for, brothers. I have too much to live for. I got 2 kids, an adult daughter and a son and a grandbaby. Yeah, for somebody I don't know and really probably don't even give a damn about to put my life on the line for that. And so I kind of understand what Troy's saying, how you are being desensitized or somebody being desensitized to situations like that. Because when that happened to me, hell yeah, I couldn't do that no more.
Can I just say one more thing about the video before you go?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because this actually I have done. Anytime I've been in a public place and I've seen a child of that age sitting alone, if I'm there for any length of time, there have been times where I go up to that child and says, where are your parents? And if the parents aren't there, then I may make a phone call. I may call 911 in that situation. The child might be lost. They may not speak English, whatever, if I can speak Spanish, whatever it is, if they can't tell me where their parents are and they're just sitting there, because the thing about the video that was kind of messed up, he's talking on the phone, kind of yapping it up or whatever. He's not even concerned with the child before the guy even gets there. But there have been times where if I've seen this child just sitting alone, it's like, where? Or I may ask, like, we're in a crowd, where's that person's parents? Where's that kid's parents at? Or, does anybody know where their parents are? Or I may go up and ask themselves, where are your parents? And so that's a situation that, I would have tried to do before it even got to that point where that guy could even show up. But he seemed like the guy was totally disinterested in the child, even though he's sitting on the bench with her until this guy shows up. So to me, that's the situation. I couldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
And another thing about that, you got to protect yourself when you deal with these kids, man. When I as a football coach, I don't take kids home alone by myself.
Yeah.
Oh hell no.
I will go and pick up my son and take him with me. I say, no, dog, you got to ride with me to go drop his boy off. Right. He'd be upset. I don't give a shit. But at the same time, I got to protect myself. I don't want to put myself in a situation like that. So when you if you was to see a kid out there lost himself, man, make sure you have somebody else with you. Make a party or two so you can have some type of witness to protect yourself. So people won't think that you're the one trying to abduct the child instead of trying to be the one to help the child. Yeah, just like Mr. Bennett said, I'm going to call 911 off the bat. You don't know where your parents is? They know where they're around. Are you sure? What about your older brother or sister? And they say no, then I'm calling 911. And I'm going to sit there on that public bench or wherever that is in public. And I'm like, hey, could you come over, hang out with us because I need a call and I just want a witness and explain to the person, hey, I just need a witness to, say ain't nothing going on. I'm not trying to abduct this kid. I'm just trying to do right by this child because the child is lost and explain the whole situation. You got to protect yourself, man.
Hey, Black man, I got one for you before you move on.
Yeah.
When I used to work midnights, we got a call for a robbery one night. And then during that, by the time I got there, this lady says, hey, look, this kid just robbed me. I said, you said kid? She said, yeah, he's like 10 years old. He robbed me. I said, what do you mean? She said, look, I saw him out. We were walking down the street. I saw him out. He stopped me and asked me if he could use my phone because he needed to call his parents because he was lost. So she doing the right thing, thinking nothing of it. Like, okay, yeah, this is a kid outside. He needs help. She goes in her purse to pull out the phone. He brandishes a weapon. He takes her whole purse and runs away.
Yeah.
Listen, when I try to explain this to guys, this is a new age. This is a different age these days. This is not the 60s anymore. These kids is different out here. So you really do have to take your time and be careful and assess the situation because you could be the victim, like Hank is saying. You could be the victim. I just thought about that. That was like my second year in the department. But yeah, and come to find out it was a 10-year-old. We wound up catching him like 3 days later. It was a 10-year-old and he would run around at night. He'd robbing people, playing victim.
Now I do want to say this real quick, guys. I'm going to play this video. I know all of y'all didn't saw it, but I want to discuss it with my brothers. Here we go. Because I think this is more like, when I think about it, I think, well, y'all figure it out, because when we get done, I want to have fun with it first. I want you guys to tell me who on the panel do you think would be able to express themselves like this. All right? I know I'm going to let Hank go first because he's good at that. All right, here we go.
Always talk to black women, they don't want to talk to me. The minute I talk to a white woman, they get mad. You want to think you're mad? I'm mad too. There's a lot of anger inside of me. What about us? Black women talk about me, me, me. What about us black men? We go through stuff too. We're tired of hearing the same thing of, oh, we're independent women. We're independent this, we're independent that. I'm independent too. We have a lot in common. You have this imaginary wall around you. I don't know who damaged you. And me being a black man, I have to suffer for what somebody did to you? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not the enemy. I get that a lot from black women, that we're the enemy, we're liars, cheaters, we're dogs. Diary of a Mad Black Man. I have a journal I keep. And then when I show this side to women, they think it's a weakness. It's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. But then when I show this to you, to black women, you don't know how to receive it. Yeah. Because you're so used to being abused. It makes it hard for me to get to know this.
Black women look at me and say, I can tell you don't like us. I'm like, what? I don't like you? I love you, but I can't help it if I learn 20 instruments. I can't help it if I play flute, walk barefooted on the beach.
Should he stay silent, or should he have been expressive like he was? Hank, was talking with you first. You muted.
I already know what he said already. I already know what he just said.
F that shit.
Fuck these hoes.
Hey, you close. I was probably thinking that, but you know. But seriously, man, you got to if you're dealing with a woman like that who you can't be vulnerable, yeah, you shouldn't be dealing with that woman. That's off top. I'll sit there and say, you got a good woman, and she opens herself up or opens space up where you could be vulnerable, unload, unleash everything, whatever's going on, whether it's something in your past or something you currently dealing with. And if you don't have a woman like that, yeah, leave her at the goddamn restaurant. She's not worth being with. She ain't gonna do it, but pour on you, unload her troubles on you. But it's always you always carrying all of her burdens. But when it's your time to unload yours, she's not available. She don't have time for it. She might be critical or insulting to you. Why you need a man up? Why are you crying? That shit happened a long time ago. Why are you in your feelings? Hell, woman, I need for you to be open and to listen to me. I'm sharing some vital information that I'm really dealing with, that's really heavy on my heart. I'm going through some shit. I mean, it could have been to the point where I'm ready to end myself.
Yeah.
But you like, it's not that, I don't want no soft man. It's not about being soft. It's about, man, I need understanding. And right now, you're not opening yourself up to be vulnerable. So again, black man, like you shared before on Purple Carcast, man, the white man don't want to share that with you again. He's not going to want to give yourself another opportunity so you can shit on him. Nobody wants to do that. So it's like, you tell me some information and I shit on you. I expect you not to share that with me again. All of a sudden now you might confide into someone else. Then that's a different problem you got. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Hank, man. Anybody else want to jump in there? Black David, I'm gonna listen here, Black David. I'm gonna pull you in here. Now man, Dre gonna call you out if you go over. Hold on. Black David, it's Jesus. Wake up, Black David. Black David.
Enough of this. Okay? Enough.
Oh Lord.
Enough of this. All right. Let's get back. Yeah, thank you. That's how I feel like that.
Now we got admin wars and shit now, right?
Go ahead, Black man. You know, man, Drag got you on the clock.
Oh boy, y'all nuts.
Hey, I'm going after you, Black David.
I'll say this.
Let me talk too.
I learned a hard lesson as part of my wife. About she likes to drop all her emotional issue to me, and I listen to them. And the moment I just drop a little thing and she's trying to point it back at me, I'm not gonna lie, I was vicious ever since then. So whenever she wanted to say something to me, I do whatever I can to destroy her self-esteem. And I block them because I had enough of women who claim they want a man who is soft-spoken, who can speak to them nice, who can share their emotions. I think, nah, F that. And I noticed one thing about today's women of society. They are almost completely shallow. A huge percentage of them. I'm not saying most, but a huge percentage of them. So when I hear these talking points about they want a man to be vulnerable, I hear that bullshit. But seeing that I've watched the whole episode of that, and the first thing came to my mind is, just leave the country. You're no good. You're just no good, because at the end of the day, unless you find a real one who you can share your feeling and emotion to, don't drop your guard. They will use that against you and throw you on the bus. So when they get into an argument, they will use that against you and say, that's why no one want to talk. That was your parent. I was like, wow, you will do that with? I said, thank you very much. And I end up becoming what, how would I say that? I had an addiction to destroy people from out because of that. So when anyone want to throw something against me, it won't affect me, but what I do is destroy them so much to the point whereby they can't ever come back ever again. We'll talk. I'm being honest. I got no mercy for females who want them out like that. I'm coming for your soul.
Follow up behind him.
What'd you say, Corey?
I wanted to follow him with that. You know, at the moment that guy started to break in front of all those women on camera, that's the last place he needed to be. So what he doesn't understand is he needed somebody that was older to pull him off to the side, off the damn set, and say, look, you have been manipulated since day one. You've been manipulated by feminism and estrogen, and you don't even know what the hell a man is right now. Do not go on camera. Do not start talking openly. Withdraw from society until you figure out what a man is, because you're representing men. Stop it. My God. And, when it comes to being a man, sometimes you need somebody to slap you up the back of the head and say,
get your ass in the car.
Pay the bleep attention, all right? Because this is, and getting in, you are literally a plaything for emotional manipulation, and they're putting you on display like some stupid ass Gumby. My God.
Did you see the one fake crying?
Yes,
you
sir.
See the one female that was fake crying, like she was really feeling what he was saying.
It's BS. This is what gets. I don't like the shows where the women drag the men out there. Well, no, wait a minute. The males, because they haven't become men yet, because they're not acting like it, and they know they're not acting like it. That's why they took them out there, because they want to portray men as absolutely weak. It's an agenda, and I don't give a damn who's got the degree.
Facts.
It's an agenda.
Amen to that.
But no,
I think.
Anyway, maybe I better retire back, or I'll go back on mute.
I think one of the biggest issues we have right now is I think as men, we put ourselves in situations to have conversations with people who can never understand what we're going through. Like, to sit there in front of a bunch of women, they're never going to understand the male experience, and vice versa. We're never going to understand the female experience. And this idea that we can bridge the gap, we can get them to understand. No, all he did was make himself look weak. He started to break down. He started to cry in front of them. You made yourself look worse than what you did before you started talking. One of the things that I'll tell you a little bit about my past. I learned that a son that I raised for almost 13 years wasn't mine. And one of the best things that I ever did was I didn't talk to any women about it.
You still free?
Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm still free, but some people did get hurt, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But one of the things that I didn't do is I didn't sit down and talk with the women in my family. I didn't have any discussions with them. I didn't, they wanted to talk. They wanted to check, hey, we'll check on you. How are you? I refused to talk to any of them because I knew they could never understand what just happened to me. They can't even empathize what happened. They have no clue what just happened to me. And the only people I did talk to were my boys, my friends of over 30 years. They're the only guys that I talked to because they could at some basic level could understand what I was going through. I think we as men, we've got to understand there's just a need to be silent. There's no point in talking to them. They'll never get it. Like they'll just never get it. And then they'll try to make it seem as like the one girl is faking like she's crying. Like, girl, stop it. Put your tears up. You don't feel anything that man is saying right now. You don't now I understand where he's coming from. The men on this panel, we understand where he's coming from. You don't feel it. You're faking it. You're faking it because a camera shoved in your face and a Yala Van Zandt is sitting 3 feet away from you. So now you're going to try to make it seem like you're really there, you're into it. No, you're not. Because you're going to go right back into your daily life, doing what you do, putting yourself first, and expecting men to cower and bend the knee to you. I agree with Corey. We got to stop with this nonsense and start being men again.
Now, okay, so Trey, you just said something. Thank you for being vulnerable, man, and sharing that with us about the 13-year deal. And that train, and I'm glad Hank back too, because that was my next thing to talk about. There was this couple that went to child support court, but what the mother did not know is that the father had a DNA test done on the kid. So the judge said, before I give my ruling on child support, I'm going to open this DNA test and we're going to get the results of the DNA test. And the judge opened it up, right? And when he opened it up and read it, this child, after all these years of paying child support, that child was not his, bro. And when they found out it wasn't his, the man's sister got up. I mean, in the courtroom in front of the police. The big guy that you see running on this video is the father. Watch this.
Go ahead. Oh, damn. Oh,
whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Please! Oh my God! Stay out here! Please, oh shit!
So wait a minute. Now we talking about breaking up stuff. No bailiff. No. Where's the law enforcement?
I don't know how you guys' courtrooms are, but in a lot of a lot of courtrooms don't have bailiffs. Yeah, a lot of them don't have bailiffs.
So the little
was in Detroit.
Yeah, so the girl in the middle was the baby mama. When that judge, you got to watch the whole video, guys, to get the perspective. But when that judge said that child was not his, he took off like a rocket and just grabbed him.
yeah, Black. I mean, listen, Black. I'll tell you what I did when I got the letter. It came in a letter in the mail. When I got it, I read it. I opened it. I read it. I hopped right in my car and drove straight to her house. I don't think I grabbed my wallet. I didn't grab my wallet on my phone. I literally put my slides on and I drove straight to her home. And I handed her the paperwork. Well, actually, what I did was I said, I'm going to ask you one time and one time only. And I said, I want you to remember, I know the answer to the question I'm about to ask you. And that's what I said to her. It's like, I know the answer to the question I'm about to ask you. Is that my son? And she said, of course, as a woman would do, she stuck with her lie. Yes, that's your son. And I gave her the paperwork and I said, no, he's not. He's not my son. And I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that everything in my body didn't want to knock her teeth down her throat. I would be lying to you. Everything in me wanted to destroy this woman, but I knew there would be much worse for me than it would be for her. Yeah. So I left it alone. But I can't speak for the female cousins in my family. They felt differently. But
let me ask Hank though. Hank, you in the courtroom, you've been paying child support for 16, 17 years. You get up there and after 16 years, the judge said, hey, Hank, I know you love that boy. He ain't yours.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Shit. Hey, my heart go out for any dude got to deal with that bullshit, man. God damn. I truth be told, I'm trying to file a lawsuit and get my money back.
I'm trying
to get every goddamn dime I can.
So what you gonna do with the kid?
Hey, Hank, that'll be a law.
I'm gonna let this man know. Hey, unfortunately, I'm not your father. Now, look here. You've been in my life all this time. If you still want to have a relationship, we can. If you don't, I understand. But your mom ain't shit, and I'm taking her whatever check she get.
Hey, look.
Here's the thing, though.
I could sue a woman for paternity fraud. That's crazy as fuck. They ain't never been in a lawsuit yet.
Now, Mr. Right.
Until 2025.
JT, I'll be the first. I'll be the first, JT.
Mr. Bennett.
I was gonna say.
Yes, sir.
Hank can set the precedent.
Mr. Bennett, you go and your daughter, God forbid, needed a blood transplant. They tell you, blood transfusion. They tell you, Mr. Bennett, I'm sorry, sir, this is not your child.
Well, she's definitely going to get the transfusion, and I'm still love her as my own, regardless. Now, as far as me and Mrs. Bennett, we're definitely going to have a conversation. But at this point, I got too much vested in them, and I'm not walking away from that. I'm the only dad they ever knew, and so I'm just keep doing my business.
Tyrus, you go. Yeah, your babies, man. They're not yours.
I don't blame dude whatsoever. Like,
I don't even like. Come on, Tyrus. He football tackled her ass.
He did.
Hey.
Dude, hold on, y'all. I want you to look how small she is, bro. He hit her ass like a linebacker in 75. Watch it, bro. He hit her hard, bro. She disappeared out the frame, bro. Watch this.
Go ahead. Oh, damn. Oh,
Who's the baby mama? Oh, who's the mama? The white shirt?
In the gray pants on the floor, pinned
gray
down.
Gray pants and a white shirt?
Yeah, the gray pants. Yeah, the gray pants. Yeah, this again.
Go ahead. Oh, damn. Oh, he took the computer. Damn. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Stay out here.
You threw the monitor. Download this.
Oh shit!
Yeah, right.
He threw the monitor. Download this. Carry guns. If you're not gonna have a plaintiff in the courthouse, aren't they armed?
Nah.
Yeah, but they ain't stopping no shit like that, man.
Yeah, I think it's on the state.
Full crime people.
That was in Michigan, dog.
Do you think, Tyrus,
do you
think he should go to jail for what he did?
Nah, man. You talking about instant reaction. And guys, like I'll never know, but just think about all the bullshit that was going on prior to this.
Man.
All the conversations, the texts, the BS that been talking back and forth
child
about
support
each other's
increase.
family, child support, all this other crap that boiled to this singular point.
The you ain't shit, you a deadbeat father, all the shit that I tackled the shit out of
You should have said that. You should have said you didn't add more to the Super Bowl. That made it worse.
So my daughter, hold on, y'all. My daughter just texted me. She said, "Daddy, great show." She said, "Me and my friends watch." She said, "Y'all funny." This is my 19-year-old. My 19-year-old. She said, "Daddy, what you didn't know about the story?" She said, "On the news, the girl in the gray pants." She said, "That's the baby mama." She said, "The dude and the girl that attacked her, the baby daddy is the one that attacked her. The child that wasn't his was helping him."
Oh shit!
So the other girl that was whooping her ass was her daughter.
Oh, that's
wow. That's poetic right there.
Wow.
So it was more than one kid that wasn't his?
No, the kid that wasn't his, she was there. That was the child right there. And she whooped the mama ass with the daddy. Well, he ain't his dad. That ain't a real daddy.
The child was a daughter.
The daughter. Yeah.
So the child.
But I'm
how
with
tight their
Mr. Bennett.
bond was, man.
But I'm with Mr. Bennett. I'm with Mr. Bennett when it comes down to it. Once we had created that relationship with each other, we may not be connected by blood, but shit, we got a relationship with each other now, and now we can build off of that right there. Because your mama just ain't shit. I got to go off of what Hink was saying. Your mama wasn't shit with that one right there. She already knew.
I'm looking at this video.
That's what I did, JT. I didn't leave out his life. I told him straight up, look, I'm the only father you know. I'm not gonna walk away from you. You know what I mean? That would be unfair to you. You haven't done anything wrong. But I got to be honest with you, bro. Your mom is trash. And I told him straight up. I told him straight up. I showed him the results.
I'm different.
Because I asked him, I said, he has my last name. I said, listen, you're free to change your last name. You're free to do whatever. And he looked me dead in my eyes at 12 years old. He told me, he's like, I'm not changing my last name. Like, you're my dad. You're my dad. It is what it is. And we'll rock from there. That's why I say all the time, I technically only have one child, but I have two. He's still my boy. You know what I mean? But, listen, everything that man is feeling, that's what I felt. I felt the same thing. You want to pick up the entire house and drop it on her ass. You really do.
Now I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this video. Hold on, Black Dave. I'm looking at this video completely different now, knowing that that's the child that feeling some type of way that mama lied to her all these years. So guys, forgive me. I gotta see it one more time because I gotta see that daughter whooping that ass too. So hold on, here we go.
Go ahead. Oh, damn.
She's sitting on top of him.
Hey man, let's be clear. She earned it.
Go ahead. Oh, damn.
Boom.
Some people straight up earned their ass
So
that dude in the gray pants, was the guy was supposed to be the father, but not the father?
Right.
Yep.
And so the daughter was in all black, was the one she
The daughter got to her first and grabbed her, but the daddy just football tackled her ass.
So who was the woman in the red and black checkered shirt?
The red and black people, those were her family. The girl that
was the auntie.
That was like going on. Right. That was her part of the family. So it was a family brawl in there. They tore that courtroom.
That auntie looked like she was the problem.
Man.
The auntie
trying to save her.
I think the auntie got the monitor in her face. That's because that monitor.
Yeah, she caught that motherfucker.
She got the download. No, she got a download of a bio on her forehead.
Bro,
real quick, they
try to make it seem like we don't get attached. We don't get attached to our kids.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up right now for you, brother. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. I'm gonna pull it up where we can stop it and still it won't just play all the way through. Hold on, just a second.
Please do, brother. That was the smack that I miss in person. I would have been there and do it with popcorn and an ice cream.
All right, I got it up. Hold on, let me put my screen up here. Man, we finna dissect this damn thing. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm about to go John Madden on this thing. We about to break this thing down.
Man, let's break it down.
Whoa. This is UFC now, not John Madden. This is not John Madden now. This is UFC. This commentator on UFC now. This is not John Madden anymore.
He over there.
Dude, okay, so here we go.
Y'all see the guard just bail, bro. Hey,
yeah, he gone. He gone.
If you look at the picture right now, he went on immediately. He went on 45 miles an hour from this point.
Okay, so as you can see, I got the cursor.
Before you do that, hold on. I'd like to say something. First of all, look at how these people dressed in the courtroom.
Right, man.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Man, don't nobody give a damn about that no more.
But it matters. It
doesn't matter.
Well, Mandrea, the dude probably already knew. This motherfucking child may not be mine, and I got to be loose. He probably already knew.
You got to keep it cool in the courtroom. That's what the fight is dead wrong. Everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong in this situation.
Mandrell is Friday night.
Hold on.
Mandrell, what you
This was
drinking over
supposed
there,
to
bro?
happen.
What
I
you
just
drinking
wish you
over
wore
there?
jeans.
Hey, you know what? Mandrell, I got Eric Mays for your ass. Eric,
Let me finish.
I got Eric Mays for you.
I stick by it. I call you a handkerchief head Negro. I call him a handkerchief head Negro. And I'm sticking with it. Google it. I view you as a handkerchief head Negro. I don't know how you view yourself.
Here's the thing.
Shout out to Flint.
That's
Shout
my
out to
guy.
Flint.
I get it.
I love some Eric Mays, boy. That's my guy.
My point
That's
is,
my guy too.
okay.
Shout out to Flint, Michigan.
Here's my point. Number one, they got the uniform on. That's bad enough. Okay. Number two, you made it so easy for them. You're right there downtown at where the jail is, and you do it there. No, wait until you get out of there.
But I'm saying, what
And
man
also,
been
this guy
raising a child that long
I
gonna
get
think
it, but
about
here's
all
the
that
thing.
though?
Also, that guy was paying child support too, wasn't he?
Yes.
Hell yeah, that's why he was. That's why somebody had to catch that monitor.
Mandrell, imagine
Hold on.
Mandrell, you gotta imagine the boiling point that it is in
Mandrell.
the courtroom.
Mandrell, hold on. Let me speak.
How many times has that
Mandrell, hold on. Let me respond to it.
So Tarus,
Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
Tarus, you're telling me that when it comes to this, it goes down where it goes down.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
When you find out that information, you just don't know what your reaction is going to be.
Okay, Mandrell. Hold on, just a second, Black David. Mandrell.
Together, though,
Imagine me going to court with my wife, and she's standing up there, and that judge open that folder and say 4 out of my 6 kids are not mine. What's gonna happen?
Bro, I'm gonna stand right there. I'm gonna tear
that motherfucker
in that courtroom to fuck up.
No, Black man.
Somebody go get your monitor.
Hold on, JT.
I'm gonna fuck some shit up.
JT, Black man knows it. If I'm there, he knows what I'm gonna do. Big man. Hey, come on now.
I'm gonna tear that motherfucking courtroom up. It's over.
Big man, don't be stupid. Look at where you at.
I don't give a damn about that. I'm gonna say, Mandrell,
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm cool. Then I'm gonna run down.
Too shit.
I'm running motherfucker like I'm running to the ring.
And for real,
just want to talk to her.
So Tom, you ready?
Talk to her, right?
You ready?
Want to talk to her?
This why you need to be in shape, because he really should have hopped that guardrail. See,
Yeah.
he wasted time by running around. He wasted so much time.
You so awkward that
he
one.
was in shape.
You so awkward that one. I didn't think about that part.
Yeah, he could have got to it quicker if he just hopped. Because I'm hopping the guardrail.
Trey, he a big dude, so he was like, "Shit, I'm gonna fuck my knee up." He had a bum knee. That's why he didn't do it.
Hey, that motherfucker trying to hop that guardrail, that foot get caught on that thing.
Yeah. Here we go. We're gonna break it down.
That motherfucker. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't really got scissor kicked. I just.
Hey, he could have.
They squabbling out there now. Yeah.
He could have hit the TV, John. You know how you slide over like with your butt on the guardrail and you gotta throw your legs over quicker. You gotta get that guardrail out, man. You gotta get to her quicker. Man. You wasted too much
guardrail.
So Trey, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna play it. Okay, here you go. We're gonna let me know when to pause it, guys. Here we go. All right, there's the daughter right there. The daughter hit her first. You saw it?
The daughter was already in her ass.
The daughter already got to her.
The daughter already hit her first.
She's like, oh hell no, you lied to my ass. By the time you about to pause it, he coming in like 60 miles an hour.
Look to the left of the screen. You guys see that? The judge? Is that a judge? To the left?
The judge right here.
The judge and the bailiff. The bailiff, what the fuck you doing?
The bailiff was there.
This is not the first time they have seen this reaction.
Wait,
the judge looking at the bailiff like, what the fuck you doing back here? Get up there.
This is not the first time.
Now, if y'all look in the corner of the screen, look at the cursor. He already had his fist balled up, but he chose to tackle her. You see it?
Hell yeah.
He would finish. If he would have punched her, he probably would have killed her.
Oh, God. Yeah, he definitely would have hurt her. He would have hurt her bad. Because she wouldn't have seen it coming because her back is to her as well. She would have never seen it coming.
Man. So, okay, let's go.
Wham!
Look, you see that when she got hit, that's what Trey was
look,
talking
the
about.
bailiff is walking up. Look, he's near the door. The bailiff is at the door. Look at him.
The bailiff at the door right here.
Sitting there like, y'all don't pay me enough for this shit.
You want none of this right here. You want none of it. You're like, nah, I would have done the same thing too.
So look, he already what's up in there?
Bailiff already had in his mind he was quitting. He said, "This is my last day anyway." Shit,
it's like Jerry.
So let's go back to the bailiff. The bailiff. Let's see everybody doing this around.
Boom.
Let's see, you taking that L. You can't put no jeans on there. You got your ass hanging out.
They didn't put the entourage
So
like
the
the
kid
hell out of
ain't
you.
yours and your ass hanging out in the courtroom. I mean, damn, you know what I mean?
He go to judge. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Well, man, girl, I'll say this. This is better than what I heard on one show I saw a few years ago.
Now look, he already picked the monitor up. Now look, this dude right here saying to himself, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, hey, Black,
at the door. He's about to open the door to step out.
He made a business decision. He saw my man with the monitor. He made a business decision.
You know what that army is? He calmly walked to the door, open it up, walk on out.
Okay, let's go. Let's continue. Here we go.
Yeah.
Wham! Drop it.
You're all right, Mandra?
Look, she finna eat that motherfucker. Look, she finna eat that. Look, he got that.
Oh, there's a chair. Somebody threw a chair.
She threw that. So let's go back. She threw the chair first. The She-Hulk. No, the dude did.
No, that's the guy.
Yeah, the guy
threw the chair.
He threw the chair.
So he picked up a monitor.
Chair in his left hand.
He picked up a monitor and the guy said, "All right, I'm gonna pick up the chair."
Had a chair in the left hand and the monitor in the right.
That's a nice Samsung monitor to look like. Okay, here we go.
No. Hold on. Look at this. Who's on top of her? That's the daughter.
Oh man.
Daughter on top of the mom.
Yeah,
who's gonna ask like, how dare you lie to her?
With the mama wearing that ass out. So okay, so they bond got closer. Okay, here we go. Now he threw that chair. When he threw that chair, he knew he fucked up. Watch this.
Where you are, bro?
Oh, he a bitch. Oh. He hid behind the woman. He hid behind the woman. He a bitch. Watch this.
Ain't that
he threw the chair and hid behind the woman. Watch this. All right.
Now he fucking hit the daughter with that damn computer monitor.
Yeah, but watch how many hits the daughter getting in on the mom.
Yo, Auntie ate the hell out of that monitor.
He just wailed on her mom.
Dude, watch this. Watch this dude hide behind this woman. Throw that monitor, bro. Watch this.
Bro, half the size
he's like, hit the bitch. Hit the bitch.
Look, the bailiff is still. He's walking towards the bench, towards the judges. He keeps walking away.
Look at this football tackle. This dude is off his feet coming to big boy. He is off his feet.
He a linebacker.
Yeah, he coming for big boy.
Yeah.
Hey man, you do understand that when it comes down to men, we have empathy for each other that nobody else have. And at the end of the day, a motherfucker understands when that man was pissed off, that man that was right there trying to be for his family, he knew that man was in the right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get what Mandrell was talking about, but man, look here. That shit right there, that ain't nothing for another man to be on the opposite side of his.
So hold on, JT. JT, I got a question for all y'all. Y'all know y'all my brothers, and I know y'all ride with y'all. So if I'm in that courtroom and me and my wife in that courtroom, and they say, "Black Man Unfiltered, we did the paternity test on all 6 of your children, and it comes back that none of them are yours."
I'm gonna hop that guardrail.
Can I go first? I'll make it quick.
Yeah. Hold on. None of them are yours. None of them are mine. None of them are mine. I go around, do the same thing he did, and her family comes in. How many of y'all gonna help me?
I'm tackling you at the knees. I'm telling you right now. I'm tackling you at
the knees. I seen your kids. I seen all your kids. Right? My whole thing is, you beat up, but you got to go beat your brother up.
Yeah,
one of your brothers gonna have to catch it because them kids look just like your ass. So you gonna have to beat all your goddamn brothers up. You gonna have to beat everybody up. Everybody get it. Everybody about to get it.
BM, throw whatever you want, bro. I'm gonna be over there with the judge, just watching, dog. What you gotta do.
Black man. If I'm gonna quote with you, no, hold on. Let's make my point.
On wrestling, one of the bad guys will hold the good guy, and the other bad guy will come over and take shot. That's me. I'm gonna hop on the guardrail. I'm a holder for you. I'm a holder for you. I'm gonna tee her up for you, bro. I'm a holder for you.
Hey, bro, can you imagine me jumping off a table and just landing on him? Go ahead.
Black man, hold on. If I'm in a court with you and that happened, listen to me, black man, carefully. If I'm in a court with you, that happened, I will tell you in the ear, you're not a black man, you are a Sparta. Handle your business like a Sparta.
Black David gonna talk.
I ain't tell you shit. I'm about to go ahead and tell you, beat everybody.
I get way more pissed off.
He's gonna talk to her for 2.5 hours.
Black David gonna say number one. First of all, the kids are not his. Number two.
Number one.
No, I won't even do that. No, I'm being clear with you. I'm being clear with you. I would tell you right off the bat, you're a Spartan now. You're not a black man anymore. And you're just like a Spartan.
Let's tell you a story.
You go, man.
Let me tell you a story.
Manjo.
When you find that out,
number one. Not to come out here and say the baby is not me.
Come up for air.
Number two. I grab
one for that Manjo
and break it like a chicken. Number three.
Manjo, F you. Shut up.
Step 3.
Here's the thing, though, about Trey.
I will say this though: if
it's supposed to be the second voice of reason in this room tonight.
Hell no!
Helping me out.
Trey throwing monitors and shit. He throwing people.
But Mandro, you gotta remember, Mandro. I've been through this. I know what that man.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I know what that man.
Be in the room, Trey.
No, it ain't no right way. That's the thing. It ain't no right way.
You know what? I think
when you open up those results, Mandrell, and you look down at the bottom, and that sheet of paper say 0.00% chance, bro. It sends you into a different world. And I was gonna say this, black man, if you do know somebody who's going through this, check on them, bro, because I went through depression after this. Like seriously, bro, I didn't get out of the bed for like 3 or 4 days. Like it's a real thing. Like it crushes you as a man, man. It really does. It crushes you. I remember asking like, what? I know I ain't perfect. I done some dirty shit in my life, but damn, what the hell I do to deserve this? Like it will crush you. You gotta check on.
I understand that. But here's the thing though. 8 years ago, I saw a show in UK. I watched on the web, and they said a Nigerian couple came on TV. I don't know what they were doing about it. They did a paternity test, and he found out all 4 of his kids is not his. All I saw that guy do it with wearing the Nigerian dashiki. He turned around slowly, give her the evil eye. That woman was sweating. The next day, they tell on the news, this woman filed for asylum, not to go back to her country. Because she knew if she go back to the country, she's a dead woman. Nigerian men, when they find out that's not that kid, and they go back home, you're not going to be alive. You're gone. So she filed for asylum in the UK, while he went back to Nigeria to kick the kids out.
I will show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. Let me take this down, okay? I'm gonna show y'all this right here. This is Black David. These your people. You were just talking about your people. Here go your people right here. Where they at? Oh, here it is right here. Jamaican man. Nigerian man. Look at this. All right. Look what did it say? Jamaican man beheads wife after finding out their 6 kids were not his.
What did I say?
He took her head right on off her body.
Caribbean and African people do not play around. They
6 kids? 6?
They do not play around. Do what I'm telling women. You met with an African person or Caribbean person, and you have multiple kids, and they're not his, and he put all his resources in there, you better disappear. Literally.
Hey, didn't a study just come out that 30% of all the kids in Jamaica are like...
Yeah, 30. They had 500. Yeah. They had 500,000 men do DNA tests, and 34% of the men who got tested their children The children were not theirs.
So imagine how many heads were falling off.
Fuck that.
Man, imagine 18 years, 13-year-old kids, 16-year-old kids you'd have given everything to, and your wife was out there popping pussy for somebody else and got a baby.
Yo, black man, this guy had a devilish look on the. This guy was on a TV show, had a devilish look looking at his wife. His wife broke into cold sweat. She knew that she was a dead woman because she said, "I'm not going back home with this dude." She filed for asylum state in the UK. She didn't go back to Nigeria.
Black David, I think you need to keep it quiet on this subject because you Africans, I don't think y'all qualified to talk about this shit.
What you trying to say?
You niggas,
what you trying to say?
Y'all crazy. I mean, we already know what time it is, Joe.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
Oh my God.
Give our business. You don't play that. You don't play that shenanigan.
Like, David, y'all take shit too far, man.
No, I mean,
you guys remember that? Remember that white guy?
I've never felt rage like that before.
Do you remember that white guy?
Like I've been angry before, but I've never been that angry.
You remember that white guy that found out he was sterile and his wife had gotten pregnant 3 times by the family doctor?
Wow.
No.
Well, answer that question then.
Never heard of that. I mean,
what about the dude that went to jail for 5 years? He went to jail for 5 years for not paying child support, and then come to find out the kids wasn't his.
Man,
and nothing happens to the women. The women are untouchable.
Corey and Trey, I have to bring this up. I hate to be like this, guys, but all the range of emotions that we are describing right now, and this is such a good thing. Why were y'all clowning at black men who were doing the same thing in front of those black women?
Good question.
You guys are doing the same exact thing, sharing emotions. Remember, we're having the tough conversations. Why were y'all making fun of that man?
I can answer that question. I can answer that question. Where are the women?
Yeah, you got boobs.
Where the women at?
He's on a public platform.
You got nuts
expressing his emotions as a male.
You got junk between your legs. I mean, you got a crack or you got a bag or a crack. I mean, come on.
There's no women on this panel.
Now, Corey had it. That's actually a good counterpoint. That's a very good question, though, Tarus. That's rather a fair question, everybody.
It's a fair question, but the fact is, there's no women.
Yeah, but it was a freaking feminist question as hell. My God.
The issue wasn't that.
Chorus asked a feminine question. What the fuck?
The issue isn't that he was expressing his emotions. Nobody's telling him not to express his emotions. The issue is who he was expressing his emotions to. That's the problem.
I'm sorry. Are you not supposed to share your emotions with other people?
No,
you're supposed to think about
not a group of women. Not like that. Not a group of women on a TV show. No, you're not.
Oh God.
What are we doing right now, Trey? Aren't we doing exactly that?
There's no women.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't have to be.
Wait a minute. Are you caping up for the women now?
No, I'm caping up for the black
question,
men. I'm caping for the black men that
that's
display
a feminine
his emotion in public.
That's
I'm speaking
a
up for him.
major feminine move, dude.
Speaking up for the black guy that was expressing his emotion is feminine.
Oh God, put your tighties away and drop the case.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Obviously, you don't. You won't.
Wait. So hold on. So say your point, Tyrus, and then we're gonna try to get what he's trying to say too. What's your point, Tyrus, and what that you're trying to make?
We always come on these platforms talking about let's have the tough conversations. We over here giving our instant reaction to something that's happening to someone else about what we might hypothetically do if we was in that courtroom, explaining all the raw emotions that we would have. And yet it's okay for us to do that, but then y'all over here trashing another black man when he was on a different platform doing the same thing just because the audience was different. Who do you think this video goes to everyone, right? Not just men. Everyone can watch this video. Like,
I didn't trash anybody.
Yeah,
I didn't say you, Hank.
You said y'all.
Trey and Corey, I specifically mentioned.
Oh, okay. Well, no, when you said
they were the okay. They were the first ones that were trashing that black man for expressing his emotions on the platform. And yet here Trey is rightfully expressing what he would do in this hypothetical. I don't understand why it's okay for one to do something, but not okay for that black man to do that. Like, that's hypocritical, straight up.
The difference is, as I've said this before, I trashed him for having these emotions in front of women. That's what I said.
Women could watch
Therese,
this. You're doing it in front of women right now.
I didn't interrupt you.
Because you're wrong.
Control your emotions, because we know how this goes with you. I didn't interrupt you while you were speaking, at all,
bro. So you do not want men to express their emotions?
I want men to express their emotions with men who can be empathetic to their situation. That was my entire point. I gave you guys the example of me, because I explained that I never talked to any women about how I felt about it. Do you remember that part? You remember when I said I didn't talk to any of the women in my family about it? My issue was that he's having this conversation with people, with women who can never understand what he's going through, and furthermore, in my opinion, don't really care. But the men on this panel, if what I said to the men on this panel, every man on this panel can understand what I'm saying. That's the difference. I'm not trashing him for being emotional. I'm not trashing him for sharing his emotions. I have never trashed anybody for sharing their emotions. But your audience matters. Who you're talking to matters, because most times, most people are always trying to find a way, especially women, are trying to find a way to deflect their emotions back to them somehow.
So let me get this straight. Here we are talking about relationships and expressing emotions, and yet we got a guy telling men to not express their emotions with women. I'm sorry if there's just a whole bunch of conflicting message in such little words that you've been using.
It's only conflicting to you because you feel as though it's okay to sit down and talk to women. I don't have a problem with it. I don't talk to women about
your fellow human beings.
I don't talk to women about my problems because they can never understand it.
You can talk to anybody
they can't
about
understand
their
it.
problems.
However, if I do want to go talk to somebody about my problems, like I said before, I've had the same friends for 30 years. I can go hit up any one of my boys. We can go sit down and go get a drink, and I can cry my eyes out. I can scream. I can yell. I can do whatever I want. Because guess what? Tomorrow he's still gonna be my homeboy, and he's not gonna look at me any differently.
Men, don't be afraid to express your emotions, no matter what the audience is.
Well, I disagree. Okay. So we don't have to agree to disagree.
Trey, can I go?
Before you do, I just want to share some with y'all real quick, because we talked about earlier. I had this for you guys, but it was slow to download for some reason. But I have it for you guys now. I want to show it to you. Then Corey, you can rock it out, okay? Let me show you real quick. All right, here we go. This when I tell you this is crazy. This is crazy. This is why sometimes you have to be mindful of what you do or who you surround yourself with, or the type of woman that you date, because some of them can be very life-threatening to you. In this particular case here, this lady is in jail right now, okay? Because she was an accessory to it, and she admitted to setting this man up. So I want you guys to see this.
Hey, bitch, what up? They say it's time to slide. Fuck 'em up. Hey, catch 'em by the stove, up the pole, shoot it up. Hey, switch up on the Glock, make 'em hop, double.
They blocked him in. She had him go in, blocked him in. She knew they were coming. She gets out of the car, walks around, let them shoot him up, go back to the car, get her stuff, and walk away. She set him up completely.
Hey, again. What up? They say it's time to slide. Fuck 'em up. Hey, catch 'em by the stove, up the pole, shoot it up. Hey, switch up on the Glock, make 'em hop, double.
Is there any more context to the story? I mean, why did she set him up? Life insurance?
I guess she. I don't know. I have to read more about it. But she got arrested. She got arrested. They got her mug shot up and everything. She got her ass arrested for being accessory to murder. I can't say,
Hopefully she gets some life. Shit.
No, so justice was served.
These
But you
motherfuckers
see
don't
how
be having no damn life
you
insurance.
see how
man.
calm she was when they shot him. She was calm. She was like, "Okay, y'all done.
Yeah,
Okay, let me get my shit."
she was completely unaffected. The man was dying. You know, when it comes to that group of ladies and that group of young men that were sitting there pouring their heart outs about how life is unfair and everything, the bottom right corner says Black Man Unfiltered Network Barbershop Talk. It doesn't say share your feelings night. It doesn't say are you wearing your favorite panties tonight. It doesn't say a damn thing about that. It's barbershop talk. Some people can read the freaking headliner and actually see this is a panel of men. We don't give a flying fuck about emotions. About my God, I'm restraining myself, but it's anyway. No.
We just talked about all of our emotions on a courtroom video.
No, you talked
and now
about your
listen to what Corey
emotions.
just said.
I'm being logical.
Square that
You're
audience.
being young and impulsive, and
That's crazy.
you know
No, I'm being
when you
realistic and
actually
honest.
experience more in life, where you can actually relate to the people you talk to, I'll listen a little bit more. But right
You're
now,
right. I
come
can't
on.
relate to you at all.
Obviously.
No.
I mean, you know, Tarus, I love you, brother, but
I don't love you.
will you well, that's your choice. But when you're going to tell somebody that what they say is stupid, first of all, you didn't even listen long enough to hear them out because you like
There
to
you
cut
go,
them
Corey. You're being
in, and you
emotional.
like to,
Don't display emotion to your man. Don't be emotional.
and you gaslight like a little bitch, Tarus. See, anybody can do that.
Ooh, you're being real emotional now, bro.
Damn!
Colin,
What's going on?
Get him
I heard
off
you
the
say.
ground.
I
didn't know if you
what's
knew
going-
this.
No, I'm just asking you what's going on.
Then
I
when
get
you
that.
get
I
there.
don't know why you're not listening to me.
No hair.
Back up for a second. I just want to get clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what you're saying out loud, bro?
Hey, that man that was displaying his emotion in front of those women, he was more masculine than you are, Corey. Just to let you know.
True.
Let me try to put some
Hey, JT,
perspective.
yeah, take over, JT.
anybody
Hey,
speaks
I'm
the
finna go.
guy's
Hey,
language,
JT, I'm finna go
I
pick
can't
my
speak
my
his
daughter
guy's
up.
language.
Hey, Black David, run the chat, and then JT, you can host it. I'm finna go get my daughter real quick.
For sure.
All right.
Hey, but look, check this out. When it comes down to being able to display our emotions to women and stuff like that, man, one of the things that we missing is that you have to actually have that woman that's going to be genuinely your wife. You know what I'm saying? And I think in a lot of these panels, man, what we're not understanding is that the connection from dating and the connection to marriage. Yeah, some people, they're already talking about the whole thing of marriage. Then you have people, they haven't gotten to the point of marriage. They're talking about it. You know, and if anybody heard me talk, they'll hear me always ask, who the fuck are we talking to? So when we are talking to people that have not experienced this whole thing of matrimony, right? Then they don't know what the married people are talking about. They have no fucking idea of what it comes down to, because when you really look at it, bro, there's a point where a woman is going to know everything, the whole essence of a man. They're going to know the whole essence of that man, but they only know that essence if they put the you know, the effort into actually getting that man to marry them. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about this whole thing of putting our emotions and all of these different things out, man, one of the things I learned, and I gotta give a shout out to my homeboy Mandrell and his sister Shushu. They had a show for Stoicism, right? I understood what that was, because what happened was that I was like, damn, that's me. And I didn't even know that was me, right? Because I didn't give women all of me. A lot of women, I never got all of me. I got married at 22 years old. And for the people that don't know, I'm 50. I'm in a relationship right now that I cherish and I love being in. But the things that was in between these things is, how do we end up being at a point where we can do what Tyrus was talking about. Nah, you know, she needs to know everything about you. She needs to know your strengths. She needs to know your weaknesses. She needs to know when you're stoic and all these different things. Man, these are different conversations that we're having. So when it comes down to it, this what we're looking at right now. The younger generation, we're talking about anywhere from 16 to 25-year-olds. If you're over that part right there, then, and if you are talking what they're talking, you're behind the power curve right quick. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, men we have to have that stoicism in us because we are the rock. There's no other way around. Try to be a man to a woman that you've only known for a couple of goddamn weeks or a couple of months, and you try to give her all your goddamn emotions and all that shit. It's gonna end up being like that video that we just saw. It may not be as extreme as that, but you're gonna get destroyed. You will get fucking destroyed. At the end of the day, women have to put in just as much of interest into what they want, just like men have to do it. It's not that hard, people. It's not hard. At the end of the day, what we keep talking about is when we meet a person and then we go all the way to divorce, or we go all the way to breaking up with that person. What the fuck are we talking about? At the end of the day, you want to be a person of integrity. That's why, you know, I hear all these goddamn panels when they talk about loyalty. If you look on my panel, if you look on my page, I have a video, a short, and it talks about loyalty. I don't need your fucking loyalty when you are a person of integrity. I need you to be integritous. I don't need you to have loyalty towards me, because loyalty can run your ass right to the grave. Stoicism is what we need as men, because women, they respect us when we have that. My woman would tell you in a minute, yes, he's an asshole. Yeah, asshole, but he ain't an asshole to me. Every once in a while, he's an asshole to me, but I can deal with that shit. So what are we talking about when we talking about this shit? I agree with what Tyrus is saying, and I definitely agree with what Corey is talking about. But what are we talking about? At what level are we talking about it at? One of the things I learned about Tyrus is that he's building something with his wife. They have something that they're building. The majority of these people on these panels, man, ain't building shit with nobody. All they trying to do is have talking points, and they living off of these fucking talking points that they have. What are we talking about, man? Let's go back to the topic. Are women pushing to silence and censor men? Who gives a fuck? Because we got the motherfucking upper hand. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. We have the upper hand. We keep giving it the fuck away. That's all it is. We're giving it away because we're not being what men should be. That's basically what it is. We're not being what men should be. That's why I love these conversations, bro. Anybody else got something to talk on?
Yeah.
I'll be doing another my series on stoicism isn't over because there's a lot to stoicism. Yes. A lot to it. So I'm going to be doing a few more episodes on that. Not this week and the week after, but just keep your eyes open. It's coming. Because I mean, like, it's just like JT said, stoicism is something I think as men you must practice. The earlier you start practicing it, the better, to be honest. But it's definitely a must-have. And I think T-Shaw said right there in the chat, don't do it, man. Wait until you can trust her with your vulnerabilities. If not, she will use it as a weapon against you. Even the best women out there will do it subconsciously. They don't know they're doing. They don't even know they're doing it, but they do it.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm with him on that. Like Tarusi's building something with his wife. He'll always have my respect for that. Period. He's doing what he's supposed to do. I might disagree with him on a few things here and there, ideology, as far as the ideologies go, but we don't disagree on much. Yeah, actually, we don't. I mean, nine times out of 10, we disagree. It's on the fine tuning of the minutia of the issue. The big picture, pretty much neck and neck, you know. But yeah, I'll do my series on Stoicism because it's something that no one's talking about, but it is absolutely essential. And if I can help people understand what that is, number one, so they can start practicing those habits, then I've done my job.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, listen, one of the things that I love about this panel and CBN, yeah, I'm going to let you go. But one of the things I love about this panel, man, is because we have different ways on how, different tactics on how we get along in life. But we have to start being men. Anything other than being a fucking man or having the tactics of being what a man is, we ain't trying to hear that bullshit no more, man. We got a bunch of men that come on here, man, and we have different ways on how we look at it. But one of the things we can all agree on is that what we're trying to do is be better men than we were yesterday. That's it. That's all it is. I'm gonna land that plane, man. Anybody else got anything?
I'll go after CB.
You muted TV.
Yeah, JT. Do you want to be a part of Do you want to be a part of one of those episodes?
Absolutely.
Like you're a fan of it. I mean, yeah. Okay, cool. We'll put something together then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. CBN, what's up, bro? Yeah, you know, look, you must be saying some really good shit, but you are muted. And so we would like for you to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, my mistake. It can happen to the best of us.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad both JT, you, Taru, and Corey have your point of view, and you're right in many different angles. What I learned from experience being around my elders growing up, as men, you can only be comfortable to share your emotional experience to among other men who are trustworthy to listen to you and coach you to the right direction. What Corey was referring to, that when we're in an environment like this among men, it's okay to express our feeling and emotion. But what my elder told me one thing and one thing only, don't try to express how you feel to a group of women, because when you do so, chances is it's not like a weapon, it's more of an ammunition. They'll keep it for a later day. So in case of they want to tear you down from the foundation, they'll use that against you. And I've seen that happen in multiple family members I know about. But what I do understand is this. I noticed that one of my favorite artists, independent artists, Dax, did a talk about how to be a man, and I listened to the lyrics. It was a great song, but I also know the one thing about it. He was doing it for people who silently don't share their emotions, that they keep it within them. So they don't have people who they can trust to share their emotion with. So you look at the past 2 years, there have been men who've been through a lot of things. They can't speak to nobody. They bottle it up. When they can't say nothing no more, that amount of emotion tear them down. Either they eliminate themselves or something happened to them. The problem is, not everyone is blessed to have this type of dynamic put into place. T-Show was correct. Don't share your emotion to any man. Out in New York City, I've seen a lot of women go below the juggernaut, trying to tear men down in public. And you wonder why some men just go off.
So CBN, this is the thing, and I love the discourse, deleting the whole thing of the personal attacks. But what Corey and Tyrus was talking about, how do we get to a point with a woman where we can trust them to the point where they can see that we have a vulnerable side of us, right? How do we get to that point? It's
not going to be easy.
Right. It's not an easy thing. So that's why, like, what you like what Corey was speaking on and what Tyrus was speaking on, actually both of them was actually telling, there was a lot of truth with both. But what I see in with Tyrus is what he's saying is that he's already got to a point where there's a verification already.
Check the back chat, Black David.
There's a verification that this the one right here. This the one I'm about to put all my chips in, right? What Tyrus, what Corey was speaking on was based off of a non-verification. You can't be sitting here and just giving your all, and because one of the things I know that what men do once they start being vulnerable with women that don't deserve their vulnerability, man, you're gonna get destroyed. So I understand exactly what Corey was saying. They're gonna destroy the shit out your ass. It's gonna happen. But
JT, if I
where
may,
do we get to the point of we have it at a verification? It's already there, because once you married that person, you've supposedly you verified that person is that person that you want to build with. They're not gonna be the perfect person. It ain't gonna never happen with that. You ain't gonna never meet a perfect person, but that's somebody that you can build with. That's somebody that you can be in that classroom of relationship with. Where do we get to the point where we can get to being vulnerable or showing a vulnerability? Because I'm never going to be to a point where my woman is going to look at me where I have to look at her for the fucking answers all the goddamn time. Nope, I got it.
I would say what my uncle told me. I will mention this. I will mention what my uncle told me. He said the only time you be able to do it, it had to be something that's significant that prove that she is trustworthy, because it's not that easy that you can just trust any woman. Because how would I put it? Today's society don't breed trustworthy women these days. You have a lot of women who can pretend to be trustworthy, but could get naked under the green grass.
Okay, I'm glad you say that, because it brings me to my question I have for really JT and really everybody on the panel. But okay, say you do get vulnerable with a woman and you get scarred. You know what I'm saying? You get skint up. And how do you prevent yourself from developing a callus over that? And
well,
how do you allow yourself to be vulnerable and trust again with someone else?
Well, again, I got to go back a little bit on that in terms of what caused the scar. Because you're talking about being vulnerable. What is your expectation when you become vulnerable?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of guys are prepared for that. I mean, I can be as transparent. In fact, I was intentionally transparent with pretty much every woman I dated or met before I married my wife. But I did that with intention because, again, I wanted to see how would they respond to, or how would they handle that particular situation. Would they be sensitive to it? Would they be passé about it? So I'm looking for a response to it, but I'm not looking for her validation. I'm not looking for her. I'm not looking for her to provide the answers. But that was a test of mine to say, look, my thing is, look, here's my life for the sleep. You can take it or leave it. But I wasn't so emotionally invested in how she felt about me, so that it would, that a scar or a callus would build up. I didn't get in that deep. I was very intentional about I'm sharing these things because these things that may come up in our relationship if we go forward, or if we go into marriage or whatever, I'd rather you know now instead of getting hit with something later on. So again, what is your expectation when you decide to share that side of yourself with a woman? So I think that's part of why the scarring happens. We put so much stock in her response to it that I think that's what's leaving us vulnerable. But being 100 about my life, and what I've been through and whatnot, I have no, that I think you get power in that when that stuff doesn't affect you. The fact of the matter is that a lot of stuff is still affecting you, and you haven't probably dealt with it. But once you've dealt with it, once you come to terms with it, then it's like, it is what it is.
So Mr. Bennett, would you say that it takes time? It takes a process in order for a woman to actually be able to be at a point where she can even be deserving of that vulnerability of that man?
I don't think so. If you dealt with it. So that's the thing. A lot of the stuff that we're doing, we haven't really dealt with our own trauma. And we're looking for somebody who can take care of that for us, and nobody can really do that for us. So, like I said, if you come to a point where you can be at peace with yourself, regardless of what I did, I could have went to jail, I could have had I could have been, abused, I could whatever that is. If you can come to that where you can be comfortable with yourself, then it doesn't matter what someone's going to be saying about you or whatnot. Look, I just tell people, look, I'm not running for office. So any dirt you pull up on me, I'm not running for political office. So I don't care what you think or say about me. That's not going to affect me. So again, I'm looking more so if I decide to share that information with you, I'm looking more for what your response will be, not for your cure. But again, I want to see what type of person you are. Are you empathetic? If you can't be sympathetic, can you at least be empathetic to understand what I'm saying? I'm looking for what your follow-up questions are going to be. That was very important to me in the dating process. And if I felt in any way that you were just very just nonchalant about it, then I knew that, okay, you have a lack of empathy. You have a lack of, and you might be in some ways a bit of a narcissist. So again, those were like red flags to me that I was looking for. Can you be sensitive? Can I have your full attention when I'm sharing these things? Do I have your full attention, or is your attention elsewhere?
Well,
again, but that's you have to control or be able to tell and share your story on your terms. But a lot of us were not ready for that, and again, we're looking for somebody, just to kind of come and hug us and understand and cry with us and understand, hey, I understand what you're going through or whatnot, but I think you got to do that own work on your own.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to be willing to say, look, I'm rolling with, despite all that, I'm still going to roll with you. That is what, for a lot of men, that is what you're looking for. Someone who can hear all that stuff and say, I'm still rolling with you.
So do you, and I think Hank wanted to say something, but I wanted to ask this.
I think Jay wanted to say something.
Yeah, but okay. But what I want to ask you is this: do you think that, again, a lot of people understand my whole thing on loyalty. I don't like loyalty, but do you think that when it comes down to this whole thing of what we're looking for in women, do you think that loyalty versus integrity is where we or let me flip it around? When we're looking for loyalty for women, do you think that we're looking for the wrong thing versus looking for them to be an integritous woman? Do you think that that's where a lot of men go wrong at? Because we keep asking women and they ask us, and vice versa, for loyalty. I have yet to hear people talk about integrity, because the thing about integrity is that you're doing what's right even when no one else is looking.
Correct.
Loyalty is like slavery. You're gonna be in their corner even when they're doing wrong.
Well, I think that we might be having a different play on words here. I think the word that you're describing isn't loyalty, but fealty.
Fealty. There it is.
Fealty is that kind of blind loyalty that doesn't pay attention to the truth or the facts or the whatever. It's just blind, and you're willing to cover up for someone's wrongdoings. So I think that, but to your point about integrity, I think certainly integrity is for the long haul. Integrity is like the vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Loyalty feels good. Like when you think someone is loyal to you, you feel a certain way. It sort of boosts your ego. But if I know I'm with a woman who, like, if I wanted her to do wrong, I said, look, I need you to lie for me. Well, I need you, just to hide this or whatever, and if she's gonna say no, I can't do that. You may not like that in the moment, but in the long run, more than likely it's going to pay off for you in the long run. So integrity definitely wins the race. But in the short sprint or whatever, yeah, loyalty feels very good. But sometimes, again, and that's one of the reasons why, again, the woman that you're with, she needs to have those characteristics. Because again, you're not perfect. And so again, for her to be able to see those blind sides in you, to be able to call to challenge you to be better than what you are, that's very important. And so, so yeah, I would say I would agree with you overall that the character or the integrity is more important, but it's not about loyalty, it's about that fealty. And fealty says that, look, I owe you nothing. So again, the thing with loyalty is loyalty goes both ways. But fealty is like, look, you can, I'll be loyal to you, but you don't return that in kind. So it really, in fealty, you're just using somebody, but you're not really. It's not based on a solid foundation, not a good relationship.
Okay. I can smoke a whole bag of that right there. Shit. Jedi Mike, what's going on with you, brother? What's happening, man? Love you, man. Congratulations. I don't know if I gave you a congratulations or not. I know y'all been married for a minute now. So, but what do you have to add to this conversation we have right now, bro?
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Love y'all. Shout out to Mr. Bennett. Hope you're doing well. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
But just kind of give my perspective on this about in a relationship standpoint. I think some people might be missing what JT is talking about in terms of like, yes, we might have a level of trust or loyalty to somebody, but what does that mean if integrity is not nowhere as a foundation, right? Again, as men, I like my father always told us this is from the Godfather, right? That women and children can afford to be foolish, but men cannot afford to be foolish. It costs too much. It's from Dan Corleone. I think it was in Godfather Part 1 or 2. And basically what's talking about is that if children can fall, struggle, whatever, then mothers they can hold their back. If women they fall, struggle, us as men we can hold their back. Who got our back as men other than God, right? So with that, it comes to things where to a woman where like if I'm trusting you, in terms of having my heart or whatever, and then you using that as leverage, because there's also another thing I have been in conversation with people about this too, that women always feeling there gotta be some catch to stability. The feeling when the feeling of stability comes, there gotta be a catch, like, all right, when's the curtain gonna be pulled? When is gonna be this XYZ, instead of just knowing where you are and being present. And then what ends up happening is the self-sabotaging happens, and they're gonna be like, well, you did, I got what you told me in confidence or told me about your trauma, what happened to you when you were like 2 years old. I'm gonna use that against you now because I feel threatened. Women, because whatever is women like, their foundation should be is security. That's in their nature. They found, and any ounce of they're not feeling that at all, they're gonna use any resources to retaliate or feel like hey, if I'm being played or whatever, I'm just gonna use this against you. And again, this is what men gets messed up when they're talking about. Well, we want men to be what's it called? Have level of emotional intelligence, but we never talk about, well, when is the time when I'm emotionally intelligent as a man, but then yet what I'm telling you right now is not in your convenience. What are you gonna do at that moment, right? They will always talk about having emotional intelligent men when it's convenient for them in terms of their things and the conversations and in the relationship, whatever. But when it's times when I have to communicate to you, when it's times when I have to give a vulnerable side to you, they're like, oh no, this is too much. You're being beta, and so yeah.
So it's very important that we do actually, and if you guys have never seen it, the show with Mandrell and Shushu, Stoicism, it goes right back to that again, because what I've learned from that was that it comes down to women feel privileged once they can break through a certain part of you as a man, right? One of the things in my journey, dating and all these things that I've heard women always say is that you don't express yourself, right? Don't express yourself. You don't tell me exactly what's going on. And I'm looking at them like, yeah, I do. Because what we don't express is that you're not listening. You're not listening. I show you exactly what the fuck I mean. I ain't gotta tell you nothing. You see exactly what I mean. It's a privilege for a woman to actually get a man to do the things that what Tyrell was talking about. Being at a point of vulnerability. We are not going to just naturally give you our vulnerability if we don't trust you. It's not going to happen. We are some good actors. We're very good at acting. My father, to the day he died, kept saying, I'm good. He in pain. And he was saying, I'm good. That's kind of like how we are as men. When we let our guards down, it destroys us when we're in the hands of the wrong people. That's what it is. That's basically what it is. It's a privilege for a woman to literally be able to get to a man and actually see exactly 360 of what that man is. You know how much investment they gotta have? It takes investment to find out how that man actually operates. It's investment. A lot of women don't want to invest in men. They don't. It goes back to what Mandrell was just asking. When we give them too much too soon, they can fuck around and destroy us. So how do we figure that out? How do we figure out these things on what can destroy us? When we are at a point of stoicism, we can actually get along. We can get in and we can go through the world easily. The only problem is that if we're trying to have a mate, that can only go so far with them. You need to let that woman actually understand exactly what your strengths and your weaknesses are. How do you figure that out? The answer is within that woman.
JT, wouldn't you say with the social media and stuff that it's dangerous, almost suicidal for a man to share his feelings with a woman? I mean, because if she's ever put a man on blast on social media, she's capable, and you can't go by what you can't go by what she tells you. You got to go by what she does. If she's ever done it at any age, that's who she is.
She's absolutely. I mean, that's the gamble that we have to pay. But guess what? It's always a gamble. Your biggest gamblers are men. You got to gamble, brother. And the thing is that with that gambling, you have to understand how the world works, how women work. You have to understand these things.
Yeah. Well, the only woman I could ever get with is a woman that does not have social media.
Yeah, it's right. Because influence, this is the thing. Influence has, this is where you don't understand. And that's why you have to understand their influence. It's kind of like how insurance companies work. They base everything off of what? Probabilities, not possibilities.
Yeah.
Everything is off of probabilities. It's going to still be a gamble. There's no way for us to understand that, hey man, it can still go wrong. But the difference between men and women is that men always look at the balance of probabilities, or we should operate off the balance of probabilities. Women always based, things going off of possibilities. I mean, it's possible for your ass to be able to fly. How many people grew wings and flew? Nobody. So we have to base things off of numbers. That's what men are. We're number men. And when we are out of the order of that, it always tends to bite our ass. One of the things that I've also understood is that we based all of our things in our present off of our past. It was off of probabilities of our past. We have to be able
because what you've done before informs you.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that we have to be at a point where we experience all these different things. This is why you have men that have
well, I'm 52. I've experienced a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Did it destroy you? That's the thing.
Made me stronger.
Now take what you experience and take that experience and give it to the average woman that you actually liked and see if she will be able to handle those experiences that you experienced.
The only woman I could like can't be average. Because the average today is like dumpster diving.
Right. So that's the thing. That's the difference between women and men. That experience shit is bullshit. That's why when you hear women say, well, if men can do this, why women can't do this? Because you guys get destroyed from your experiences. The thing about men is that, yeah, you got men that get destroyed from their experiences, but you have men that get to be better people from their experiences. That's the thing. Again, it's off of the balance of probabilities.
Well,
you have way more men that can tell you about some of the trauma that they experience and how they survive the trauma versus women. They would take their trauma with them. They would take all of their trauma with them. That's the fucked up thing about it.
Well, you've been in situations. I know any military man's been in a situation where you thought that trauma could destroy you, but it didn't. You came out of it. When the trauma's bad enough where you actually thought this just could take me out, but it didn't, you never come back from that unchanged.
Africa,
Yeah.
there was Africa for me. Here's the thing. Because I've seen combat quite a few times before Africa. But the training itself, there's stoicism in the training. The army was my first experience, like consciously learning stoicism. Like what they're teaching us, I know what they're telling us. This is stoicism, and we had classroom work on it and stuff like that. But the training had it like embedded in it. And you're right, absolutely right, Corey. The training had us prepared for that as much as it could. But the first time I went into a situation and came out noticeably different, noticeably a different person, was Africa. You don't come out of that the same person. You do not.
You were
and it's like I said, it's something I will never say on air.
Because life came at you so hard, you were forced to see life differently.
You're forced to. You got no choice.
Yeah.
Now everything looks different. Everything tastes different. Smells different.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, like it is.
And what Africa do to anybody, no matter you in the military or your civilian.
It is an eerie experience, man. When you get, because I was in situations where I thought I was gonna die. Like I'm okay. I guess I'm dead. I was kind of indifferent to it. That situation, nah, no.
I'm the same way because here it is. If you knew me before I went to Africa and found me after 7 years, I'm not the same. But that thing, it changed my way of thinking to the point. That's what I did. What Mentor went through, I fully understand it because some of those stuff similar to that, I've seen it firsthand. But the problem is, you cannot remove it from your memory. So imagine having the African people who left Africa come over here just to avoid that. And some of them could not sleep for months until they got used to it.
Yeah, Corey's right. Some situations you get into, you cannot come out of the same person. Not possible. And the thing is, what do you do with that? Like, these are things you can never tell anybody because my mom asked me about it once. I got not even a quarter of the way through what happened. Okay, she said, okay, stop. Don't ever tell anybody else this, and don't tell me the rest. I don't want to know. I said, yeah, but I just started. I don't want to know. Leave it there.
Hey, man, Dre, but
let me say something real fast. We got totally off vulnerability and all of this, Africa and all this shit. God damn.
Yeah,
but bring it back to the homeland. Fuck that.
Right, but being vulnerable, that's the story about me being vulnerable with like I was getting into that, like being vulnerable with even my mother. That's a woman who brought me in the world.
Well, Andrew, we gotta get to the point. We can't
The point
go
is,
around the bush.
What I've learned is there's some things you just can't be vulnerable about with people. Some things you got to take to the grave with yourself. You know,
So we're not talking about with people. We're talking about with a woman. That's it.
Oh, yeah, with the woman. There's some things you're just not going to be able to tell her.
Okay. Well, let me say this then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Part of my standards is part of it. It's you got to have standards and certain standards for a woman. So what you need to do first is put her to test. Share something with her that you already had dealt with, and you already overcame the issues, whatever it is. If that means, at one time when you was a child, you was touched by your uncle, and you're over that situation, share that and see what happens. See if she shares it. See if she goes out and let everybody, auntie and everybody know, and they looking at you differently.
Yep.
If that's the case, then that's not the woman for you. I hope you find out if you could be vulnerable with the woman before you marry her. Because if you marry before you found out you're vulnerable, you's a goddamn fool. There's a lot of things you should have did before that. You have to be vulnerable with your woman before you marry her. Because you're going to go through some ups and downs, some trials and tribulations that you're going to have to unload that shit on somebody.
Yep.
And you may not always have a counselor right on hand to share that with. So what are you going to go? The next best thing. That woman that you lay beside, that you give your body to, that you share your income with, that you share your household with. That's what you need to do. Break bread with her. And if you could trust her and she's worthy, then yeah, you should be vulnerable. She ought to know everything and all things. I say it all the time. The woman I'm going to bless with my last name, she's going to know everything and all things about me. Yeah. It won't be a secret. Nothing. Financial, emotional, mental, none of that. Our physical, any physical. Nothing. She's going to know because she's going to have to deal with this.
Yep.
She's going to have to deal with this. So us not being vulnerable with that woman, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because no, you're not going to be able to handle every goddamn thing. And you ain't going to always be able to call your friend because you never know what type of position your friend in. The guy you feel like he'd be vulnerable, he may be going through some shit.
He may be going through some shit.
Yes.
Yes.
How's he going to help you? He's going through his own goddamn shit. That's like me right now calling JT. Man, I'm going through shit. Goddamn, JT's going through some shit. I got to give him man a benefit for that. Okay, I can't call JT. What am I going to do? Just going to stew on it? No.
Yeah.
Why not look at that woman that you blessed with your last name that you should be able to trust in, and you should already show if he was vulnerable or not. Share with her and see what she has to say. She might be able to help you. You might be surprised. Now, if she can't, then you already chose bad anyway. That's a totally different problem you got to deal with. If you can't tell anything, you already chose bad anyway.
Yeah. That's going to be my next question, Hank. What do you do if you try to open up that person, but they don't want to? They don't necessarily.
Then then she's not. She might not be the one for you.
What did you say, man? If you open up and she doesn't reciprocate.
The information you're giving is something she doesn't really want to hear.
She's not the one.
You don't want to hear. What do you mean?
You can't make a whole.
You don't bother with a woman like that, bro. You're supposed to be sharing the experience.
I just said that. If you can't be vulnerable with this woman, it shouldn't be nothing she couldn't tell her, unless I mean, I don't know what you're going to tell her that you can't share, but it shouldn't be nothing that you can't share with her. And if she can't handle it, she better pray about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. She better, maybe we need to, use that EAP and find you a therapist because, what you're telling me, man, is really heavy and it may be too heavy for me, but I'm here for you. I'll listen. I wouldn't know what to say, but I could, the minimum I can do, I can at least listen. I may not have the answer, but the least I could do is listen.
Absolutely.
And
it goes the other way too. I gotta know, like, if not your darkest, but I gotta know again, what is something that may be still going on that's going to show up? Because I'm not just marrying you, I'm in part marrying your family. So if you got some family stuff that's still out there that, look, you got a crazy aunt or uncle or mom or whatever, or you got something that is going to, you know, that can possibly bleed into our relationship, I need to know that up front. Yeah. And then I need to then assess the situation. Well, could I handle or could I deal with that? I think a lot of us, we spend too much time in the courtship not getting down to the brass tacks. You know, I want to meet the family as soon as you're able to interact with your family a little bit. I want to meet them. I'm not so. So again, I mean, people go around for and then the problem is you get so attached now because you might be either because you guys got intimate, you got physically, so you're hooked on this person, and then you're going to start to let some stuff slide because you just didn't want to get to the real as far as to know who this person really is or where they coming from.
I gotta say this. I keep Mr. Bennett up there, but I gotta say this, man. When I hear you brothers speak, man, y'all speaking of women that actually they kind of like put you guys not on a pedestal, but they put you as
honor.
A human.
It's honor.
It's like a man. It's like you can hear it coming from you. You know, you guys' speech. This is what we're saying, Mandrell.
Honor.
That woman that don't want to deal with any of your woes, she don't want to deal with you. She's only talking about what's going on with her. She's only thinking about that. When I hear Tyrus speaking with, because it took me a minute, Tyrus, and I got to tell you, it took me a minute to get from where you at right now. But he's in a place of tranquility right now. You know what I'm saying? He's in a place where dudes, it's very hard to get to that place when you're out dating. This is why, as men, we want to get rid of the dating shit. We want to get to the point where we got a woman that can sit back and say, "I'm gonna take on your vulnerabilities." What, you got a problem there? Okay, I'm gonna see. You know, they're trying to find the balance. They're not trying to be the answer. They're trying to work to the answer. They're trying to be part of the process. They're not trying to be that whole end result type of thing. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? When you got a woman that's there and saying, let's get to the process then. Not let's get to the goal. We're going to get to the goal, but we got to have a process. So is it you that's going to come up with the plan? Me going to come up with the plan? We going to come up with the plan, and then we'll get to the goal. That's what we have to get. Because that woman, man, when I tell you, bro, and I ain't got to go to a biblical standpoint. When you got a woman that can multiply, dog, you're going to be talking just like Tyrus.
Yeah, but that goes back to
a woman that can multiply. When you got a woman that can sit back and your life is straight, fuck happy. We ain't talking happy. We talking about a man that's in tranquility, where he's going to be, because he already understands there's always going to be fucking problems. There's always going to be a goddamn issue that's going to be coming up. And when that woman is right there by your side, bro, when I tell you, bro, I've seen it, I've witnessed this. That's a whole different type of program. It's very hard. Shout out to SB, security boss. Yeah. SB trying to get women to get married, right? And she can't figure it out. You know why? Because she's been into that tranquility for so fucking long, man. She don't know nothing about no damn dating. When she was into dating, it was in a different type of standpoint. She's talking about maintaining that tranquility. Man, we dying and we don't even realize we dying. So that's why we think we got a whole bunch of goddamn time and we can just sit back and think we can just pick and all this. No, you get what the fuck is in front of you and then you work it out. If that shit ain't working, your process is going to eliminate it anyway. And then you go to the next step and then the next step until you get to that point. When I hear goddamn Hink talking about what he talking about, I already know that woman look at him like that's the man. She can see the asshole in him and she still be like, that's still my man. She don't know other motherfucking woman to have him. Because she understands this is what I got right now. Not this is the best that I can do. She ain't looking at the best that I can do. This is what I got. I'm fucking with him. Every man that's on this panel right now, man, that's what you have to look at yourself as. Not an option. Once you and that woman got together, it's time for us to start doing our work. It's time for us to start learning, because you don't stop learning in that relationship. If it doesn't work for you, okay, go to the next until your ass get the hell on and die. We got too many people out here talking about bullshit. I gotta say this.
Yeah.
There's too many people talking about bullshit. That's why they can't get to the goal, because they can't get to the process. It is all a process.
Here's the reason why I asked that question. It's just for the sake of clarity. Is because, like, I don't know if I'm not entirely sure yet if it's a part of my stoicism or whatever, but I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. It's just knowing who to be that vulnerable with. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that in the future.
The show process.
Well, again, but I'm not sure.
Let me give you a personal thing, and this really goes toward what Hank was saying. And JT, I agree with you 100%. There are steps that you take throughout the dating and relationship process where you know if you could trust your girl or not, at least with something, right? Guys, y'all know your girl's doing the same thing with you, right? She's giving you information and she's wondering if you're going to run your fucking mouth. Run your mouth, right? Guess what? You're going to know if your girl's trustworthy or if you find that crap through her friends talking about that. And for example, Mandro, I'm married, but I went through the same thing, man, because 2 deployments to Iraq, you know how hard it was to open up about that kind of stuff with my wife, and we're already married. But bro, if I didn't trust my wife and I couldn't eventually open up to her, that means that wasn't the right one. Worse than that, if my wife's like, I don't even want to hear that. Are you serious? That means she's not into you. She never was. You are a stopgap to something else. You see, your woman, just like you are supposed to be as her man, you're supposed to want to know her problems, even if you can't do anything about it. My wife can't do anything about the PTSD crap dealing with war, but she wants to know what I'm going through because she wants to do the little things to try to make my day that much easier, or at least that less difficult, right? When your girl goes through the same thing, that's what you as a man are supposed to want to do. The same damn thing. There's some things women gonna go through, bro. You got no idea. But don't ever let it come out of your mouth. Man, girl, I don't care what's going on with you right now. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That sound like a relationship? Does that sound like you actually into the woman you claim that you're in love with, that you want to be with? So if you can't, and guess what? That's life, bro. Life is sloppy. Life is messy. Sometimes you are going to find these things out the hard way. And the only way you're going to find out is if you do it again, bro. Could you imagine? Just come on, man, Drill. Just think about that, man. What if I'm not good at sex? Well, let's not just have sex. Oh man, what if I don't find a girl to get married with? Man, I'm just not gonna get married. Oh man, what if I don't make it through basic? I guess I won't try to join the army. Oh man, what if I don't learn how to drive? Well, I better not try to learn to drive. Man, what if I don't make it to the football team? Well, let me just avoid trying to make the football team. Like, damn, like if you get to that point, at some point you start getting scared of your own shadow. You don't think your girl gonna see that? That indecisiveness? This is the opposite of a leader, right? That's the opposite of everything that you claim you're trying to present her as the leader of the household. We got to think about that kind of stuff.
I have to say this one with that one thing I kind of disagree with is certain, like with my wife, like I don't engage in certain conversations because I also think there have to be a level of what conversations need to actually be talked about on some things where this is just conversation of the enemy and just trying to go somewhere and there's actually not going anything. For example, like there's like some questions that might come out of the blue just because of either insecurity, whatever, or saying, you know what, do you feel like you're settling with me? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not talking about this. Yeah, like, check that. But there is a thing of men. We have to learn how to able to communicate effectively because these are women. However, there's certain things. Listen, I'm not going to engage in this conversation because I'm telling you, this conversation is not. There's no any like fruit that's coming out of it, and all it is basically just going. If I'm trying to engage in it, it's only going to be basically making this hole of insecurity or this doubt, whatever, bigger. So if I try not to, like, if I'm hearing something and I'm gauging her when she's saying something, like, why are you saying that? And then she don't even know why she's saying that. Like, no, check that. Could that's just some term of your level of thinking where again, women are questioning when they're stable in a relationship, they're trying to find something wrong instead of just realizing, hey, I'm okay right now. But I'm always thinking, oh wait, maybe something wrong. Let me engage in that curiosity and just ask, hey, are you feel like you're happy with me? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just said I love you 2 months ago. Like, there's something that's frustrating for us as men because we deal with every single day with some of these conversations, and because it's like we're dealing with with a terms of emotional being, yet we're emotional creatures too, but the way we kind of display that is different. So when it comes to communication, I try with my wife when she's saying something like that, her mindset is trying to like go down the loader bar. That's my dad always tried to say. I try not to like, hey, you better check that. I don't know like where that's going to, and if it's something serious, then let's talk about that. But if it's trying to create like a argument or create something, whatever, I just like, hey, we're not engaging in that. Let's end that right now. That's my
But
perspective.
I understand that perspective. My perspective on that, because I don't necessarily disagree, just my perspective would be, I'm thinking that this is an opportunity to have a nuanced conversation where I can actually, as her man, plug that insecurity gap. Because what if she's looking for you for reassurance?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? There's some
Yeah.
insecurity. There was a panel she was on another day or something she was watching that made her question, and then she goes, man, I wonder if my man thinks like that too. Maybe
Right.
she's just trying to fill that insecurity gap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, so
but this
it's
is
going
the
beyond
thing.
the question. It's the question beyond the question.
Mm-hmm.
And you being the leader, you being the in this situation, you have to be willing to take that conversation there.
And the thing is, I agree with what you guys are saying, like, because I agree with that philosophy as well. Whoever I marry, I want that person to know everything there is to know about me, good, bad, ugly, worse, and the best. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it does get difficult, the longer you go, to be able to open up about things like that, to trust someone enough to open up like that. That's why I agree when people say, listen, don't stay out here in this dating life too long, because you do get hard. Your heart does callous over. You know what I'm saying? And then to mix that with stoicism, and you get busy with stuff.
Let me
You
ask
know
you
what
a
I'm saying? You know what I'm
question.
saying? You're not actually growing with the person. You're not
Let me ask you a
developing with the
question.
person.
Before you guys say T, I just wanted to just respond
Yes,
to something
sir.
Mandrell said. Like, he asked the question, who do you share your stuff with? And I think going back to what Hank had said, and I think a little bit what Taru said and what I said, maybe you need to change the question. It's not about who you share it with, it's what you share.
Yeah.
And again, what you share should be something that you should be comfortable sharing. And again, you want to see how that person, if they can they handle that? I mean, I think Hank was dead on. How do they respond to that which you share? If they are going to be that, I can't deal with that, I want to hear about that or whatever, then again, but that's part of who you are. That's part of the package that you're getting. So if you're not built for that, then again, that's going to tell you if that person's the who. So maybe focus on the what you're sharing to find out who that person really is, rather than trying to find the perfect person to try to share that information with.
Yes, sir. So my question is this to Mandrell. Have you ever dated multiple women at one time?
Nah, not my thing.
Let me tell you why that is very intricate with men. Because we get a chance to understand how the anatomy of the women work. This is why we can have these panels that we have. I'm telling you, you have most guys, they're gonna tell you when you start looking at women, man. I'm talking about we
JC,
have
you
a
mean anatomy
mindset.
or mindset? Because anatomy is pretty biological.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward, JT.
I mean, yeah. You know what I mean?
I got a pretty firm grasp on that.
The psychological. let me rephrase that to the psychological, because this is the thing. When we date in abundance, we get a chance. It's like we have the pick of the litter, right? But we get a chance to see how women actually operate. It's funny as hell. I've dated in abundance, and I've seen women that I probably wouldn't look at as being wife. And then I look at the woman that I did look at being wife, and it switched on me because I started talking to them. It's weird that they all have similar things involved. They it's just similar with them. But one of the things that kind of like delineates them is the interest that they have in you. It's a weird fucking thing that men. This is why you have a problem with men, where women be like, he's cheating and all of these different things. A lot of times, you don't have to have sex with these women, but when you're dating these women, man, and if you're serious about dating these women, man, you're gonna find that type of woman a lot faster than just if you was just trying to screw a bunch of women. You know what I'm saying? But if you actually understood, and you're right, Corey, it wasn't the biological part of it. It's more the psychological part of it. You will find out that they have a lot of things in common, but you can delineate a lot faster because of their interest in you. This is why you have, you have dudes that say, damn, I go with these, these strippers or whatever because they're telling me what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's what the average dude is. This is what these guys go to these strip clubs for. This is what these guys get prostitutes for and all these different things, because they get in something that's instant. What we've been talking about tonight was something that is a process. It is a very, if you haven't had that experience, man, it's a hard fucking thing to delineate, because you can have women that can tell you that they're interested in you, but they're really not once they start understanding who you are. Once they start understanding who you are, then they'll be like, yeah, no, I ain't really trying to fuck with that right there. They're not going to tell you, though. They ain't going to tell you that.
Women are attracted to lifestyle before they're even attracted to the person.
Yeah, it's more of an opportunity type of thing. They date with opportunity. I have not met any woman that has not put that opportunity in the front for when it comes down to her dating. I haven't met that. So at the end of the day, once we understand that, we understand how we need to move in this world. Now, because we have YouTube and Facebook and all this shit right here, it starts to get cloudy, because you got a bunch of motherfucking people that have just these different types of talking points where they can confuse people. But when you're really trying to get to a point of, all right, let me date for marriage, let me court for marriage, and you're serious about it, man, you'll get rid of a whole bunch of damn women. You'll get rid of a bunch of them. You be like, yeah, she cute, she fine, she got all these different things or whatever. As soon as she start doing things that you like, nah, that goes against my principles, my morals, you can get rid of her real fast. But if only thing that you're concentrating on is her anatomy, the only thing you're concentrating on is what she's saying to you, because she thinks that she can say the same things to you to make you feel good, and you're going to be good with her. Once you start telling her the truth, it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be hard as hell. It's just once you start getting to a woman, once you get to a woman where it's very difficult to figure it out, because she has all the things that actually makes her a great partner to you, and then you get to her flaws. You like, yeah, I can handle that shit right there. She's a woman. Yeah, I mean, that's what I deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but when nobody told
What are
you
the
this,
things that you can't deal with? You can't deal with her telling you about how she fucked another nigga. You can't deal with,
when you
you know,
first meet
you
her,
can't.
though, those red flags that you see when you first meet her are her best behavior. They will increase 100-fold after you become comfortable.
But this is my thing. I don't look for red flags until I'm in a relationship with her, because I don't look at red flags like everybody else is looking at red flags. I look at red flags as an indicator. I don't look at a red flag as run. That's not what a red flag is. A red flag is just like on your car, and it tells you when it's time to get your oil changed, when it's time to get air pressure put in your tires and things like that. It's an indicator. It indicates that there's a issue. Now, once you look at the issue, now what we talking about? We ain't talking about red flags. We talking about black flags. Get the fuck away from me. You are toxic. I don't like you. You know, all of those things. Red flags are just indicators, because at the end of the day, in a relationship, I guarantee, I don't care how much you think that woman is perfect. She's not perfect at all. It's what you can deal with her. However, it ain't about you when it comes down to her. Because guess what? You ain't the one that's gonna say, once I don't put all this effort into this relationship, that I'm just gonna say, nah, I'm good. She will. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about loyalty or integrity? That's my whole thing. What
You
we
forgot a
talking
word.
about?
It's called morality.
Morality.
There's a big detach with society when it comes to morality.
Yes. That's what we're talking about. That's why it's hard to hear a Tyrus say what he's saying. He has invested already. She has invested already. They have children involved. So they're going to do the best that they can to make this shit keep going. It is a hard thing to do. And I don't even want to say hard. It's just challenging. It's just challenging, just like everything else in life. However, what are we trying to get to? What's the goal? Because guess what we end up doing? The goal is to die.
Yeah, it's all somebody
Not
else's
just to
problem.
die.
With
Right. Not just to die, but it's to die at least with a footprint.
Yeah, with a satisfied life.
Yes. When you're gone, you're gone. But when you're still here, you have a quality of life that you're trying to maintain. Or at least you're trying to, because very few people maintain the quality of life that they did once they,
Well,
in their 30s,
JT,
40s.
I'm a Christian and I know you are, but do you know how many people do not pay attention to the fact that a wife is a helpmate? But if your life is set up to where you can manage and control and, you got every aspect of your life covered, you don't need a wife because you don't need a helpmate.
Yeah. If you
The only
don't need
time you need a
nobody, then
helpmate is when you have so much going on, you can't manage it all. Then you need a
Right.
helpmate.
And that's because you out here working and you doing your thing.
And there ain't enough
It's a
hours
whole
in the
bunch
day.
of people that's married, and I guarantee Monday morning ain't nobody going to work.
What's the Bible say about idle hands? If you don't have enough going on to keep your helpmate functioning to where she feels needed, what's she gonna do?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right
She's
now.
just gonna get on social media. What does social media do to relationships?
Ugh, man.
I'm sorry, but I'm a real. It's funny because I accused Mandrell a couple days ago of being analytical, but my problem is I watch so many small details. It's well, in a lot of ways, it's almost like a curse because when you can't see things or you cannot focus on them, I mean, because when they happen, you've been trained all your life to see all the small stuff. everywhere around you. Now you can't not see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you see when somebody needs a need, you see when somebody needs space, you see when somebody is just pissing their time away, you see when somebody intentionally goes out to devalue somebody and shame them. It's you can't. It's hard to ignore once you've been trained in that manner. Now you just are what you are.
Yeah.
And
My whole thing,
when I say, when women, well, I can't say women. I've seen men do it too. Oof. They get on social media. This is a problem with society today. Morality is really suffering. They will get on social media and they will blast somebody because it makes them feel good. And then
yeah,
when you call them on it, they say, well, that's just my therapy, or you deserved it, or, there's an endless excuse list of why they do it. But the question is what does it make you look like to the person next to you? Because now they see you will go to any extreme for your pleasure to destroy somebody else. And it's just your pleasure to do it because that's why you do it, because you're getting something out of it. You're kind of addicted to watching somebody else fall. Social media has made that so easy.
oh man, Dr. Nakumbe, he said, Corey, he said, media distracts, influence, and divides a ton of couples. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that they depend on the media. They
It's an
depend on
endorphin
this
kick,
shit, man.
It hits them with an endorphin as soon as somebody agrees with them. It doesn't matter what they're saying. If somebody agrees,
everything hits up with that endorphins.
It's
That's
like
why.
an orgasm in the mind. They just like, oh my God, that felt good. It's their
Yeah,
pleasure.
it's like an orgasm. Absolutely.
It's a literally mental orgasm to watch, to get any kind of affirmation publicly, regardless of what they put out.
This is the thing.
But if you look at today's society, the average person walking around, I mean, you're my age or very close. 9% of Gen X, like us, are still married to our original spouse. 9%. What happened in our lifetime? Social media.
Yeah.
9%.
Yeah, because one of it was before social media was a big influence. It was just the company of the people that were surrounding us in our communities.
Yeah.
And now it got so global. I mean, very global, where now the influence has just, it just expanded. And the thing is that you have this is why now I gotta say I'm not technically a Christian. I have to say that.
Well,
However,
you believe some of the stuff. I just leave it at that.
No, I take everything that I believe in the world.
Sure.
Everything that's there, because I take Muslims. One of my biggest influencers is an Indian from India, Jay Krishnamurti. That man is dope to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I take what
yeah.
So I take what he says. I take what I read in the Bible and other people and all these different things, man. And that's what actually influences me to come out with my own thoughts. Now the thing is that I'm not a person that believes in anything. I just believe it until it proves that it's not believable anymore. That's just how I operate. I don't. It's kind of like I don't shit on religion. I don't none of that.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, it's a personal.
I just don't call myself these things. I just take what I can get from them so I can be a better person. That's all I want to do is be a better person. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear when I hear Christians speak, and when I hear, people from other religions speak and things like that, if it makes sense to me, then that's what I tend to just magnetize to. That's just basically all it is, man. I try to make it real simple. I don't try to make it so goddamn hard because I'm not going to be sitting there listening to a goddamn pastor saying some bullshit. He said some good shit. 2% of it was some good shit, but 98% of it was some bullshit. And I'm going to be like, yeah, he's good. No, that's not how I operate.
Yeah,
but
and he's
I try
hanging
to
out in
operate.
that room with the choir director.
Right. They don't get pissed off when the church be all fucked up. When the church fucked up, I be like, yeah, the church fucked up. But it's not gonna stop my belief in what it is, the things that has accumulated in my mind. I'm just not gonna stop believing in that. But when it comes down to men and women, we are in a deficit right now. A hell of a deficit right now. That's why I always say, no, I have to tell people exactly at the level of life that I'm in right now. And the number is my 50. I'm 50. I'm not about to sit back and start doing things that I was doing when I was 20. I learned a whole lot from being 20. You see the 20-year-old me, I guarantee physically, you would not know that was me. Physically, you wouldn't know.
Oh, hell, JT, check this out. This is a 19-year-old picture. That did not look like the same guy.
Right, right.
It's not even freaking close.
So it's about evolution.
You know what the crazy part is? I've looked the same physically, I've looked the same my entire life.
Well, you got I put on some muscle.
I don't got a baby face. Right. I just got a baby face. Like when I'm done with the training, you'll see. You're like, damn, Mandrill, you didn't de-age like 20 years. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? Watch it. It's gonna be crazy. You got about somewhere between 6 and 8 more weeks. You'll see a huge difference.
Yes,
but it's like it is. You'll still see. Damn, you look the same, but younger. It's crazy. Some people change physically. I never did. Never did.
Well,
I still look young. You know what I'm saying?
When your face gets fatter, you do change. If your face fattens up, you don't even look like the same person.
Right.
I mean, it's just at a point where what we're talking about is evolution, right? And before we get off this earth, man, we have to put a footprint down. We have to have some type of footprint. And at the end of the day, the only way that you can have something that is legacy is just trying to be the best person that you can. All you got to do is put an effort into it. That's it. Yeah. Once you put that effort into it, trust me, you may not even see it right now. You may never see it. It's not for you. Yeah. The things we do are not for us. Not completely for us. It's for the next person. And that's what we have to do.
When you're doing it, because when
you're
a young man, you do everything for you.
Right. But think about this. If you are in faith, whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, whether you are whatever the hell you are, it talks about legacy.
Yeah.
It always talks about legacy. So what are we trying to do out here? It's, for instance, when we talk about marriage, is marriage for us really? It's not really. It's for us. We are furnishing the marriage and what comes from it. What comes from it? Because it's supposed to be children, right? We're supposed to be fruitful, multiply, all these different things that it says. The atoms are supposed to be what they call multipliers. And that's what we should be doing. We should be doing things for other people.
Yeah,
so
I stopped having kids when I was 27.
Right. Whether you have your own children or not, it should be for other people. When you have your children, when you have your children, you do not have your children and rear them so they can just be good people. That's not how that shit go. You rear them so they can have other children and they can build a community based off of the morals and values and traditions that they have. That's why it's funny to me when I hear people keep talking about this whole thing, a traditional woman, a traditional man, all these different things. Tradition is from culture. What the fuck are we talking about, people?
We don't even have a traditional culture anymore.
Right. It's the same thing where you heard somebody say, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. What is the root word of spiritual? Ritual. Ritual.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
That cracks me the fuck up when I hear it. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. What? You know, with the spiritual, there's ritual that comes with that. And the thing is that it means that it's not for just you. You're supposed to shine your light on everybody. This is why they have this whole concept of what the sun is. Think about it, if the sun actually shined on all of us, it'll burn the shit out of us. That's why there's a reflection.
Hey, some of us burn quicker than others. I'll just point that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can hear me burning up.
Yeah.
Freaking
But
noise
that's what it
level.
is. We should be reflecting. This is why we have, communities and we have influence, because influence is what they call a shine. It actually shines. So what we want to be, do we want to be an influence, a great influence or a bad influence? That's basically what it is. Man, we're fighting against all these sick ass influences right now. Little ass podcasters that we have. Trust me when I tell you that this shit is not going to be little, and we probably be long gone, and they're going to be still showing these goddamn
Could
clips.
you imagine the archives that the two generations are going to be playing of the nonsense going on today?
Right.
I mean, because look what we do. I mean, we got Freaknik, we're looking back, and that ain't even that far.
Right. And I was at the 94 Freaknik, and I came all the way from Germany to go there. I'm like, I hope I am on the video. Shit, I probably wasn't even there. I was indulging the whole, because I have family in Georgia and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. What are we speaking now? Because we have generations right now that's a lost generation.
Yeah,
it's not the fact that they don't have people trying to give them, information and things. It's the fact that it's a combination of both. They're not really trying to hear what we're talking about, and we really ain't trying to connect to them. We're really not trying to connect to them. I've never thought that in my lifetime that I would hear people say I'm not trying to have kids. I just ain't never thought that, because we had a big ass problem with people having kids with no discernment. Now it's starting to get to a point where we starting to have people to say, I'm not having any kids, because of their just their experiences now.
I can actually show you the time when the family started to degenerate when it comes to teaching the kids. Look at the point in time where video games showed up in the home, and then both parents went to work and they were not there to raise the kids, because that's our generation.
This is an Atari.
It was the beginning of the end for morality, because they were put in front of the TV to entertain themselves, and nobody passed wisdom on to them.
I can say this. I don't know, Mandre, if you understood this, because you was right there. You what, 44, 45, right? So you right there.
44.
I know Corey remember this. America started supersizing shit.
I remember that. I remember that.
Everybody in America was supersized.
Everybody blew up proportionally. With the
literally, yes.
Yeah, everybody's body supersized too.
And now look how many medication commercials you see on TV.
I'm saying
they tell you about the damn medication that you have for the ailment you have, but they give you about 6 more ailments than what you have. You like, well, fuck it, I keep what I got.
Right, side effects.
God, if your heart
Long
stops,
laundry
call your
list of side
doctor.
effects.
Call him
Hey,
what?
my
You
fellow
dead.
brothers, it's about 1:17 a.m. in Eastern time, so I wonder when we're gonna wrap this show up.
Yeah, we about to get ready to wrap it up right now, man. Most
Okay, well,
definitely.
I'll drop off first. Good night, guys. This was interesting. Truce, I still love you, buddy. I do. He's
You just
side-eyeing
yeah.
me. No, I'm
He's
serious.
side-eyeing
I
him.
would. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, you just disagreed. That's all.
It's just a disagree. Look, with men, we disagree with each other, man. I love how we have the discourse. Me and Tarus done had it. And the funniest thing is we both came and left the show and was like, all right, it is what it is. And then we get a chance to talk. It's what it is, man. It's just what it is.
Part of being male, I guess.
It is.
It is. Like with men, things do get aggressive. We do like we can have regular conversations and we be at each other. It'll look like we're at each other's throats. It looks like that from a distance, but
Yeah, but then
to us in the conversation,
get some chicken or something, you know.
right? But to us in the conversation, it's just a conversation. We understand that. Hey, it's just we're just getting passionate about it. That's it. Like it's not going to go any further than that. You know, like there's some times I've been on here and like people in the chat like, man, Drill needs to calm down. I'm like, I'm as calm as calm can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at them in the chat like, what the fuck's that problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they seeing that I don't? And I'm
calm.
You know,
the word was not calm. That was the difference. Your
Well,
face
you
was
guys
calm.
know, if you want to find out what's really on a man's mind, just keep poking him.
Yeah, keep poking. Poke the bear. Poke the bear.
Keep poking him. You will find out what's on his mind. He will tell you.
No, be a Dylan book. I just poke bears.
I thought it was hyenas.
Pause, Black David. You know if a black man unfiltered was here, he got your ass.
I know, but I was making fun of Book Dylan. He was saying like LeBron James, I poke bear, and now he's unemployed.
Right. I mean, yeah, they poke zebras and giraffes and rhinos.
What, Mandro?
Yes, and it's called. The proper name is zebra.
Zebra.
Zebra. It's not a zebra.
I think I met her.
Don't worry. I'll poke your high chair.
That is the prescribed nomenclature.
Don't worry. I'll poke your high chair till you come down to high chair.
Yeah.
Number one.
It's
a zebra.
The prescribed nomenclature of the zebra. It is not a zebra. It is a zebra.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Dumbass.
Oh my God!
All right, you guys, I'm gonna drop off here so somebody can close this out.
Okay,
all right.
Night,
all right,
I'm
man.
gonna end the show right here because we passed the time. So, good night, everybody.
All right.
Peace.
All right, man.